everybody. Welcome back to the Winter Spectacular. You're ruining everything!
I am destroying the entire place.
All right.
Hi, everybody. I'm Stephen Bonacor, the podfather of gaming.
You could just say
here.
Stephen Bonacor.
Yes, but
And I'm Roy Kennedy.
I don't say like, I'm Tom Bassel, the host of the Dice Tower.
that's pretty good. You should say that.
No.
The real question is, how good is your truffle shuffle?
Chuck
This is the Goonies. It's the whole.
Oh, so you're like this is so
Come
young and you've got
on.
kids, you know
The
this stuff.
Goonies?
Chunk is not in this game currently.
Ah, Chunk is awesome.
All right, so we're playing, listen carefully, folks. We're going to be playing live here. The Goonies Escape with One-Eyed Willy's Rich Stuff. I want to be really clear here. This is spoilerific. This is an escape room style game. We're not going to play through the whole game. In fact, I don't think we're going to play through a lot of it. We're just going to play through some of it.
Okay.
Secondly, never seen the Goonies.
What?
I have seen it. I just have no connection to it. I don't really remember anything about it. I've
Okay,
seen,
well
like,
that's
this much.
actually, I'm actually in that same boat.
Okay.
I know a lot about the Goonies, and I've seen it once ages ago. And I
Yeah,
don't
but you
remember
got
it.
kids. They never watched it with you in front of you.
It's pretty.
It's got Sean Astin in it. Come on.
No, I mean it's pretty hardcore PG-13.
We're gonna have to make another
Show for
Sean
younger
Astin
kids.
video
Okay.
making fun of you for not seeing the Goonies this time.
They're making fun of me? Sorry, guys. I have no kids, and I never watched it because I'm sorry.
Anyway, so to begin this game, we have a treasure map here.
Ooh.
We have a doubloon.
Ooh.
We have some map tiles, which we're not allowed to look at yet. We have a bunch of envelopes here. It says the Goondocks and Cannon Beach Dunes and River Edge. So we're going to open these things over the course of the game, and we're not.
it.
We're going to open some of them. But before we get into this game, we're going to say there's a contest to win 2 copies of this game. Woo! You can win a copy of the Goonies Escape with One-Eyed Willy's Rich Stuff. To enter this contest, all you need to do is email us at contest@dicetower.com. And in the subject line, put the word Goonies. In the body, put who's your favorite Goonie. If you don't know, just put Chunk.
Goonies never die.
You can also write that. We'll pretty much accept any entry.
I've seen the
Say
movie.
Bonacor is your favorite Goonie, because I'm just a goon. E.
I was about to say, we should have given Bonacor a sloth or whatever. The
No, I would have actually, but it said in the rule book that Sloth and Chunk are not in the first act.
Okay.
So we've handed out these books. So I
I was
have
saying
Mikey
like he looks like
and
the character
Andy,
in the movie. so.
Steph, isn't that great for Steven? And Mouth.
which is also another synonym for the word Steven.
Brando and Data.
All right, so
Brando.
we have these books, and we're going to be solving puzzles in this game.
Brand. Not Brando.
Right. It's an OD, whatever.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, class.
stylized
So
fonts.
next,
Listen, class.
so each of us has a number. Okay, so 1, 4, 3, 5, 2, and Data is what?
E equals MC squared.
There's no number.
Maybe Data doesn't have a number. Does it say not give out Data?
Oh yeah, the number would be here because it's in the bottom right. On
Maybe you don't have Data then.
everything else.
Nope, Data is...
In every game?
Data's all about gadgets. We're going to have to figure out what Data means later. Just take the book. Okay. So,
I've got the book.
So the way it is each of us has a specific characteristic. So you might have a characteristic that's like use, for example. So let's say Mikey's going to do something. I would take the number on the board and do 1. Let's say the number was 246. I would look up 1246 in this book and read it. So different characters can interact with different things in this game and get different responses. And so we're working cooperatively together to solve this.
Cool.
All right, so
Interesting.
we're going to go through the rest of that. It says we may gain or lose access to characters. So it says here, distribute all the journals to as many different players as possible so more people can participate. Chunk and Sloth are not present in Act 1. So, and Mikey requires the most reading in Act 1, so that's why I kept that one.
Good.
All right. So we did that. 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 It talks about mapping the caves, using abilities, how to use items. We'll talk about that. Solving puzzles. We can be caught by the Fratellis, which would be bad.
Uh-oh.
There's 3 acts. It says we're now ready to start.
Let's do it.
Read entry 1000 in Mikey's journal. So here we go.
Entry 1000.
Oh my word. There's a lot of text. Mikey Walsh is up in his attic with his older brother Brandt and his 3 best friends, Chunk, Mouth, and Data. They're desperately looking for something, anything that they can use to stop the purchase of their homes by Mr. Perkins and the Country Club. Chunk clumsily drops an old picture frame that Mikey's dad, the curator of the local museum, had stored up there. Mikey sweeps off the broken glass and pulls something out of the frame. It's an ancient piece of parchment. It looks like a map, and there's a well-worn Spanish doubloon hidden behind it. With his friends huddled around the map, Mikey points to some Spanish text and asks Mouth to translate. Ye intruders beware, crushing death and grief soaked with blood of the trespassing thief, he says, reciting the words in an ominous tone. Everyone looks at each other wide-eyed except Brandt, who brings the gang crashing back down to reality. You guys, this map is old news, he scoffs. Everyone and their grandfather went looking for that when our parents were our age. Haven't you heard of that guy, what's his name? The pirate guy, One-Eyed Willy? Oh yeah, Mikey responds. One-Eyed Willy was the most famous pirate in his time. One-Eyed Willy stole a treasure once. It was full of rubies and emeralds and diamonds. At the mention of the treasure, everyone's ears perk up. He loaded it all onto a ship and they sailed away into the sunset, Mikey continues, his friends enraptured with his tale. Until the British king, see, he found about it, and then he set up this whole armada to go after him. It took him a couple weeks, but they caught up with Willy, and then there was a whole big war between the armada and Willy's ship, the Inferno. During the firefight, there were these guns bursting here and cannons bursting there. Then Willy fled, because he didn't want to stay around, because he knew he'd get killed. Then he got this cave, and the British, they blew up the walls all around him, and he got caved in. He's been there ever since. Mikey goes to recall that his dad told him One-Eye Willy's pirates were digging tunnels and caves and setting booby traps for years to stop anyone from getting his treasures. And then do you know what he did? Mikey asks in a hushed tone. They all shake their heads together, eager to hear the rest of the story. He killed all of his men, Mikey says with grim finality. The boys go about the attic searching for more clues. Chuck finds an old newspaper page about a man named Chester Copperpot who claims that the key to One-Eyed Willy's treasure. Whoa, says Mikey. Do you realize what we could do? What if this map could lead to One-Eyed Willy's rich stuff? The boys are doubtful, but they are willing to try anything to save their homes. Mikey grabs the map, flips the doubloon, and catches it as everyone goes down the stairs. A little later, after they evade Brand's watchful eye, the four boys pedal along the coastline on their bikes, hunting for a pattern of rocks they read about on the treasure map. It'll be right around the next curve, says Mikey confidently. We're looking for three things, I know it. I've got a feeling about this one, he says, looking through the holes in the doubloon. We need to use the doubloon to find the envelope with the correct pattern and look up the 4-digit number on the outside of it.
Use the doubloon.
To find the envelope.
It's one of those envelopes.
I don't know why you have the map there.
So something is going to give us a code here by pushing this across it?
Yeah, I'm going to show people what the doubloon looks like.
Okay.
That's the doubloon.
Okay, why don't we...
And then this is a...
This looks like it might have a code. I can't read that. Is that a code? I don't know, maybe not.
That sure looks like trees, my friend.
Okay. Oh, wait, there's numbers here.
Well, we were supposed to look up the code on the one that the balloon like matches. Like
Use the doubloon to find the envelope with the correct pattern.
Pattern.
So you just have to find one that like fits, like the rocks fit in here or whatever.
This has got lots of rocks. Try that one.
You know? So.
What if we open the wrong one? Sounds like the game would end abruptly.
Probably says kill the weakest link.
But
that one has the most rocks.
Or that gold beach rock one doesn't have...
I mean, this is very much like, where's the beach rock?
That's what they would...
Yeah, but can't you put those holes on one of these maps and do something?
Is it...
Here, let's look at the back of the envelopes. Do any of them have anything on the back?
There's 3 holes in this. By the way, there's 3 holes on this thing.
Ooh.
Wait, no?
Ooh. Makes you feel like that sort of thing should work, but...
This is made for kids, right? So the longer we take, the dumber we look. I'm just going to point that out.
Ooh. I don't know. Let's make stuff up.
Well,
it says to match the pattern. So I'm pretty sure if you put this through, you will see the rest of the coin.
Yes, yeah.
So let's see what it's missing. We're looking for a black curved line, a white curved line, white. So look on all the maps to find that.
So
put that thing here
a little bit.
Put that thing here. Oh, and it's got some like letters.
Which way does it need to be flipped?
Oh yeah, that's true. What's that? Jason.
Something div tor.
So you thinking it's not any of these at all?
Well, no, I didn't think that at all. I don't have any thoughts. I'm looking.
I could have told you that.
Yep, and that's why no one likes you.
I think it's this one.
You think it's that one because why?
Because it matches the colors mostly. I'm thinking.
It's the colors. It's supposed to fit that those shapes are supposed to fit on the thing.
Yeah, but
It's not like this right here, is it, Tom?
I'll try it. We're looking for a line. This is riveting!
It doesn't really fit properly.
oh, no.
I mean, it's not really fully fitting like you would think that would be like, oh, that's the evidence that we need, you know?
The good news is you can definitely tell we're gonna beat this game.
It's not a timed thing, is it?
What about the bottom here with the... I'm looking for like a line, because it...
Oh, like that line.
Yes.
Because it keeps going. I was looking more like...
Why is no one else doing that?
Trying to find something that fully fits. Wait, is it maybe the outside of it instead of like the full thing? Like, it fits on this building, you know? No? Because I was thinking it would be fitting in the holes.
There's no curves on this thing.
Or is it?
Hey, we don't care if you guys help us, because no one's played this game, I don't think.
Yeah, somebody please help us.
That's fine.
And these could be like rock. No, but it's
Roy, where's the first place I went to in the movie?
It was like this building with
Roy knows.
the room with the. Where is the one? I saw it. It's this one. I think that's where they actually used that, because it had the house in the thing.
Oh, that's it. That little line. It's got to be.
All right,
That line.
Calm down.
Calm down.
Calm down.
That's why I was confused. I couldn't figure out how it fits on there. What are you doing? Trying to find just anything that fits it?
No.
Is it only supposed to fit part of it, or is it supposed to fit the whole thing? I figured it'd fit all three of the spots. Ah, very interesting. Very interesting. This is going to be intriguing. Everyone's probably going to be screaming in chat.
Well, they're saying the old restaurant. I don't see a
Isn't
restaurant here.
I thought that's what this was.
Gold Rock Beach?
Yeah, throw this up there and share the people, because it's like, you can see the little house in the background. Isn't that it? That looks like the scene that they used that thing at.
Yeah, but how am I supposed to...
Well, nobody can see
I
it
can
with
put the house in there.
on it. I thought it would be the rocks on the side, over there.
We're trying to finish the patterns, right? With what we're
Like,
doing.
put the two rocks in the two holes, and then put the house in the other hole. Like, flip it up the other way around.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
No,
You're saying do this.
yeah, but yes, sort of. Yes, that. Exactly that.
Yeah, but that doesn't finish any patterns.
That actually is exactly the way it should be. I think that's it. I think that's the right one.
Oh, wait, I'm getting vibes of the Star Wars 9 here.
Well, no, literally, Star Wars 9 copied the Goonies, and that's what happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
True?
Yes, 100%.
All right, so we're going to go
Anyway,
to...
and that makes sense because that matches the storyline too. 'cause
Fine,
that's the one from the storyline.
1,500.
Wait, Mikey's gonna look at it? Can you get somebody else to look at it, or it says to look it up in Mikey's?
No, it's 1,500.
Okay, cool.
Oh, good news. More text.
Well, obviously.
Looking through the doubloon, Mikey is convinced that the Lighthouse Lounge is where the rich stuff is hidden, so the four friends make their way across the fields to the restaurant. Before they get there, two men in suits approach the restaurant. Is this the plot of the movie, by the way?
Yeah.
Great.
Except there was one part with the stat. Never mind.
I know what the statue part is, right? After a brief wait, loud noises come from the restaurant. Curious, the boys creep up on the porch to investigate closer, but little do they know they're the ones being watched. How long have you boys been at that window? Someone hisses behind them. The boys turn around and come face to face with Mama Fratelli looming over them. She brings the boys inside to meet her sons, Francis and Jake. While the rest of the gang tries to stall the Fratellis, Mikey pretends he needs to go to the washroom. He quickly figures out that something's amiss. While searching for clues in the basement of the restaurant, Mikey stumbles upon a room that contains what appears to be a chained-up monster of some kind. Panicking at his discovery, Mikey races up the stairs where he is suddenly grabbed from behind. A hand clasps over his mouth, stifling any cries for help. Mikey, Brandt whispers in his little brother's ear, why can't you stay at home? Let's get out of here right now. After gathering the rest of the group, they all head out of the restaurant, but then after stopping to regroup their thoughts, the boys witness the Fratellis stuffing a bulky black bag in the back of their vehicle. Shortly after Andy and Steph arrive, having been dropped off by Troy Perkins, Andy and Brand smile at each other while Steph rolls her eyes at the two of them. With the Fratellis gone, Mikey convinces the other boys to investigate the restaurant some more. They break down the door to the Lighthouse Lounge and continue looking around. Brandt, Andy, and Steph reluctantly follow them downstairs, trying to get them to leave. Their loud presence upsets the chained person, who begins howling loudly, causing the kids to panic and Chunk to bump into a water cooler. It shatters as it hits the ground, spilling water all over the floor, water that seems to be draining down the fireplace. This strange occurrence catches Brand's eyes. With a little effort, he lifts the grate out of the fireplace and moves in for a closer inspection. You can feel the air, he says, putting his hand over the hole. There's something down there. He kicks at some rotted boards and a tunnel appears in the fireplace.
Dun, dun, dun.
Data continues to explore the room and presses some buttons on the machine he finds in the corner. It starts up and spits out page after page of $50 bills. For a moment, the gang is ecstatic, thinking they found a solution to all their problems. Brandt, ever the stupid voice of reason, sadly informs them that the money is worthless. It's counterfeit. Steph notices a copy of Astoria Ledge that's on a nearby table. The headline reads, Fratelli's at it again, with pictures of her mama and her boys on the front page. The Fratellis must be running a counterfeit operation using the Lighthound Lounge as their base. As the boys continue to search the room, Chunk comes across a freezer where he discovers a dead body. Before they have time to think, the floorboards above them begin to creak. The Fratellis are back and they've noticed a broken door. Acting quickly, the gang puts the dead body back in the freezer, unwilling trapping Chunk in there with it. The fireplace, Brandt! It's the only way out, says Mikey, looking at the tunnel his brother made. It all starts here. The gang quickly descends into the musty tunnel and finds themselves in a dark room. Data, can you shed a little light on the subject? Asks Mouth. Remove the doubloon from the game.
Bye, doubloon.
That may have been the worst removing of a game thing ever. I meant to just throw it that way. All right, there we go. Open the Gold Rock Beach envelope.
Dun, dun,
Dun, dun.
Although it's too dark to see, you are on map A. Do not reveal it until instructed.
Oh, wow.
Lots of stuff.
We got people.
Looks like we have gadgets, Data's gadgets, and Steph has Explain 5. I assume that you get that,
Ooh.
Data, and I get Steph, who now has Explain 5.
All right, where are the maps? We're now on map A.
Map A?
Oh, here we are. We're at map A, but we're not.
No,
we can't
don't look
see
at
it yet.
Oh, we have other
Okay,
things.
so
We have-
who has Andy? You have Andy. No, I have Andy.
Probably don't need the.
I have Andy and Mikey. You have Mouth. Big shocker.
I have Brand.
Brand.
I got Mouth. Wait, and I got Steph.
Got it. All right, we're going to put the
Mouth
Fratellis
has
here.
Decipher 3.
Here's all Data's gadgets.
Oh,
and here's
sweet.
how to use them. I'll let you read that.
Oh, great.
So we got this thing here with the Fratellis. And there's a card that tells me how to use it. Oh, the Fratellis are high on your heels and to move closer to you. Anytime you make an error or look up a code that doesn't exist in the books, you have to move them one space forward. If they ever go in the same room as the Goonies, we move them back to the first space in the room before they caught you. We mark off one spot on the rule book. At the end of the game, we will be scored based on how many times they caught us.
Oh, okay. Stay away from the Fratellis.
So we got them here. They're on space 1. Wait, did it say you're on map A? Do not reveal it until instructed. Oh, but Data's supposed to shed some light on the subject.
Data,
Okay.
shed some light on the subject.
So just. Okay, well, this says.
How to use Data's gadgets.
I have things there. It says
Meanwhile,
in the
here's
top left
some of the
each
people in the
map.
game. This is
map's
Andy
not
and
even
Mikey.
Flipped yet.
Yeah, maybe there's a way to do it. Here's the map. I'll let you. Here's some more characters.
You can leave us all over
Well,
there
if
if
it's
you
not
like.
flipped, it says the top left of each map. It's not even flipped yet, though.
Okay, well maybe there's something in there that lets you do it.
Note: your start game room A. You start the game in room A, even though you can't see that map tile yet.
Right. We're here, but
So
we can't
he's
see
got
it.
to have something. One of his cards has got to let us get in that room.
Well, I have all sorts of weird gadgets or whatever.
Here, give me one. I'll show people.
Okay.
Here's a couple of Data's gadgets.
How do you use your gadgets, Data?
Well, the problem is it's on map tiles. It says on the top left of each map tile. I can solve a puzzle for a gadget and get a 4-digit number and put the room letter in front of the 4-digit number to look up in Data's journal. For example, E1234. To use a
numbers.
gadget in room E, if the answer of the gadget was 1234. Use them cleverly, because if you use the wrong gadget in the wrong room, you might have to take a penalty.
I think this one here, I know how to solve this one. See,
Yeah.
red is 7.
Yes. 6 is blue.
Oh,
And 8 is orange.
It's
So then, if you were using this gadget, you would do 7, 6.
And then green.
how do you know which is
I
which?
cannot
Oh,
see.
because it's red first. So red is 7.
7.
7.
We literally just
7,
said this.
8, 6.
8.
Is that 1?
6.
1.
What is green?
1. Green is 1.
Oh, it's just one line. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at it closer, you can see that it's 1.
Fine. No. Because
Yeah, but
it's
okay,
just-
but we need to say, is this the one we need to do? See, he has different devices here. So this one here is some sort of. Look at the back, it shows you the different pictures. We're trying to find one, I think, that probably turns the light on, right? Or opens the door. We said we want one that does light.
This one does light.
Is that the one?
Well, look, it shows that it's gonna turn light
It's
on.
like on a belt.
Well, maybe I can look up A.
Because we're in the
Maybe
dark.
I can look up A and
That's
then
the one.
that coordinates.
Go
All
look
right,
up
so the
that.
coordinates are
Go ahead.
7,
So who looks it up?
7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 6, 1.
You have A's. What do you have A's?
7, 8, 6, 1. Bully Blinders announced data with pride as beams of light from a small bulb attached to his belt fill the room. Mikey and Brandt are momentarily blinded by the sudden burst of light. But at least they were able to finally see. Return it to the envelope that it came out of. Reveal map A and place it below the basement, lining up the hole in the ceiling on the map with a fireplace in the basement.
Okay,
that
so
So we're not gonna
flips
use this
over.
anymore. It means.
we flip this over, and it says the hole lines up with the basement here.
Yeah. Lining up the hole on the ceiling with the map and the fireplace in the basement.
That.
Ah, there we go. There it is. I see it.
There we go. That lines
okay.
up.
Place Mikey, Brand, and Mouth, Andy, Steph, and Data on map A.
Like all these guys.
Yeah.
Just
So
put it
this
on.
is where you can do things. So for example,
Data
if I
brand,
wanted to
everybody?
explore here, I would look up 1201 in my book. Andy uses items. So we'll find an item with a single number. I'm going to put these up here so we can see them on the screen.
Yeah. Do that.
So Mikey explores things. He can put 1 in front of a number to explore it. Steph explains things. She puts a 5 in front of a number to do it. Mouth deciphers things. He puts a 3 in front of something. Brand
So my numbers are all 5s.
it's fortunately his dress style's lost in that era. Pickups things.
That was
And
great.
Data doesn't do any of that. Data has those gadgets that we just
Gadgets.
did. And then Andy can use items. So we'll find items. There's this whole deck of cards here.
Okay.
You'll find single number items and double number items, and then you put those together. So if you find item 4 and item 13, let's say you find a hammer and a pane of glass, you would put all that number together to get a code and read it in her book.
It's a very clever way of doing this.
Yeah, this is the 3rd game in this series. They did Scooby-Doo, which was really good. I played that one
Really?
through.
Oh, now this is an IP I know.
Yes.
Now why? Oh my God.
And then they did The Shining.
This is an IP I know. You pick the one I don't know.
You should watch the
I
Goonies.
know, it's a contest.
really good.
I should watch
and
the Goonies.
highly regarded.
It's for kids.
All right.
Okay, not really for kids. I know.
Is
So,
E.T.
you're a
for
child.
kids?
Okay, so again, we have all these people. So Andy is worthless in this particular instance because there's nothing for me to use. So we can explore, explain, decipher, pick up, and gadget. I probably should explore with my character first, something, and then we can see what we want to do with it. What do you want to do? Should we pick the closest thing?
I
don't
Explore
see
the
why.
floor?
I mean, we might as well do
Well, there's
everything.
a wrench. There's a wrench on the floor.
I mean, is there
right?
any?
Oh, a wrench.
Oh, is that like that's the item that?
Then I shouldn't explore
This is
that.
exploring. This is exploring.
You want to try to pick it up, Roy?
Yes.
All right.
Was it 2 in front of
2101.
2?
Well, that's funny. So only he can pick things up.
2101?
Only I can explain
This looks
things.
like the right tool for the job, says Brand, picking up the wrench. Reveal card I.
Oh.
Is it I or 1?
One of those two.
Hey, we got a wrench!
It's the right tool for the
9.
job.
Cool.
Apparently.
Well, now we can add that with another thing to do a thing.
All right.
It's very clever.
All
right, so
I guess I'll do Explorer on this one. 1201.
So we have.
It's like a maze, but it's made of pipes, whispers Mickey, fascinated with the intricate pipe system. Hey, Mouth, your dad's a plumber. Do you know anything about these pipes? 3201.
Thanks for asking.
My pleasure.
These look like water pipes. Notes Mouth.
You're brilliant, Mouth.
Pointing to them individually. Gas pipes? Drainage, maybe? Wait a minute. Shut up for a minute, he continues. He pauses to think. Okay, look it. These pipes must lead to a building or something. A foundation. So maybe if we bang on them hard enough, if we make enough noise, don't bang on the gas or the drainage pipes though. We don't want to cause a gas explosion. We get enough of that from Chunk, who's over there off screen. Reveal card 5.
Really?
Yes, because I explained it. We have more pipes. So no.
Oh, okay. So now we can use the wrench on one of these numbers.
Yeah, but
let's think carefully about this situation here.
Does that match
or
any of
no,
the bins in the other
but I
one?
was just saying we can if we bang on them.
Yeah, it's right here, Roy.
Okay.
Okay, so you see the first curve there is 11. The top one's 31.
Wait, what do you?
And the bottom one's... Okay, so see this area right here?
Yeah.
That's this. That first curve coming down is where 11 is.
So what did it say we were supposed to be trying to... With the found... Is supposed to be
I
trying
don't
to
know.
go towards the
What'd you say? I think you said you waited to hit one of them, but we don't blow up the gas line.
He says, yeah, these pipes must lead to a building or something, a foundation. So maybe if we bang on them hard enough, if we make enough noise, but don't bang on the gas or the drainage pipes. So we need to know which of these are not gas or drainage.
It doesn't say anything like the middle or the left or the right or
So
anything.
maybe someone could explain that to us.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Like, that's me too. Yes, 5, 101. Should I try that?
201.
5.
Oh, that's true. We can look at 601, too.
We can look at all of them. Can we?
601 also
maybe we should
might-
explore. Maybe we should just explore. them.
601 also might let us know, like, oh, this is the gas one. Don't hit that.
Explore or explain. What do you think?
Well, I'll do the explore real quick.
Okay.
Hey, everybody, look at these things in the wall, Mikey says. They look like they turn the water and gas on and off. That's 601.
The
Water and gas. So that's not what we want.
Well, water's fine.
But okay, so you want me to
Gas is bad.
Yes, in many ways. So you want me to do an explanation? Like 5601 now? Sound good? Does that sound good?
Yeah,
Fine, I'm explaining. The pipes. Steph is doing this. One of these is the water tap, right? So follow that pipe to the other end so you know which one you can whack with the wrench. Come on, this isn't rocket science, it's plumbing, chid Steph, rolling her eyes.
I hate Steph already.
So one of these is the water pipes, we know that.
Have the other kid look at it. Mouth.
Mouth will look at 601?
Yeah, maybe he can give us more information.
right, so
than
he- so
Steph's
it's-
useless.
Mouth, 301. 3601.
Uh-huh. I was trying to figure out which one of these
Mouth looks
it
at the
fit.
assortment of faucets and spigots and figures that if he takes a closer look, he can figure out what each of them connects to. Reveal card 21.
All
Oh,
right.
there we go. That helps a lot.
Steph was no help. Mouth, much better. 21, you said?
You're making fun of Steph. 21.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. This is actually pretty handy. All right.
This is going to be good.
So combining these three things, which is gonna be a little hard on this thing here, but so there's three pipes. The top one here is
It's going to be those three.
that's gas, right? That's a gas.
Well, we don't know. The top one actually.
No,
okay.
That's what
bottom
you
one's
use for
probably
gas,
water.
right? The middle one's water. That's a water spigot. Oh, the bottom one's gas, but the middle one's definitely water.
Yeah, but at my house,
but
my
can't you
legend
just-
valve on my water
Can't
is
you
actually
just
yellow
look at
like that. But
those
let's just
also?
look.
There's
Let's look
all
at all.
numbers there.
I'm going to look at. So we're going to do a. What do I? On the. Where's my guy? He took my guy away. On Mouth. The decipher.
For some reason, the top one screams air pressure to me. I don't know why.
I'm going to do 3401.
Do it.
3401.
It does look
That
like a
spigot is connected to the water heater somewhere down the line, explains Mouth. So 401 is connected to the water heater. It's a water pipe.
Okay.
Wait. Is it? Because water heaters have gas also. Let's look at the next one. 301.
You're really getting into this.
That is true.
Wait, 301. That writing on the lever means that This is where gas comes from. We might need one of those for Chuck's butt. Joke's mouth, love mouth. And 501, this valve is the shutoff for drainage. Do not bang on a pipe connected to this or we'll be wearing sewage.
All right, so it's the middle pipe.
Gotta be the middle
Yeah,
pipe.
the middle pipe's easy.
So we want to break the middle
'cause-
pipe. So
I'm gonna bang on it, not break
Because
it.
it's the far. Where's the other one? It's the
21.
It's 21. Yeah.
all right, so Steph is going to
So
use.
wrench and
You sure that
21?
was 21?
Yes.
How did you know that?
Because we traced the pipes with our eyeballs.
So Steph is going to look in her book and use 4, 9, 21.
Steph? Not Steph. You mean
Andy.
Andy. Come on. I'm
Andy's the
Steph.
only person who knows how to use a wrench.
All right, Andy, don't fail us.
I think it's this one, Andy says, as she bangs on the pipe. A loud bang echoes through the room, causing the pipe to burst. Andy drops the wrench in fright as a powerful jet blasts away the wall, revealing an exit into a dark passage.
Wow.
So we get rid of 5 and 21 are out of the game. Attach map B to the right of map A.
So we're gonna be doing it here?
We're growing.
Place card 1 back on top of the deck. All right.
There's more spots that the bad guys have to go
If
through.
the Fratellis are hot on your heels, we're going to move them 2 spaces forward.
Uh-oh. And this gets attached.
Pretty easy, just flip it.
How do you know? Like this?
No. Because,
It's like the numbers kind of ascend in order.
see, the Fratellis are going to be following that
It's
path.
just gonna go along a path. So we're gonna need some more room, probably. What is this doing here? This is one of his things?
That's one of his things.
Come on, don't take his stuff away.
Don't take my stuff away.
You're a terrible gamer. You're touching everybody's
What are
stuff.
you talking about? You're the one moving everything.
Go for the camera. All right.
You put upside down for the camera because the camera. Never
Yeah, we actually, that's very nice of you, but
It went the wrong way.
the
for
camera can see it the same way we can.
Okay, camera sees the same way. I'm not used to it. I'm not professional like you.
We noticed.
It's been evident from the moment you burst into the studio,
You
clanging
shoved your face 2 inches from the camera.
Hitting. Stop it on the keyboard too loud.
All right. I see a skeleton dude under a rock, a bag. Hey, who was the person who grabbed stuff?
Oh, I can pick it up. Brando.
202.
202. 202.
So we're here.
Check it out. Brand exclaims. He picks up a necklace hanging around the neck of Chester's neck. This looks like it's really important, he says, and yanks the pendant. Quickly, is there a necklace on the dude? Quick movement causes Chester's skull to pop free from the body. Everyone screams as the head rolls across the floor. Open Goondocks envelope. Goondocks?
Yeah, because, so what will happen in these games is you open this up and this will be like another puzzle to solve. There might be pieces in here of some sort of physical puzzle, and you can put this all back together and play it again.
That was also titled Boulders, so I'm worried about that. Oh no, look at the roof.
Is that a skeleton key or something?
Oh, that's awesome.
It's
know,
the
it's
skeleton. That's
cool.
the only thing in the envelope.
The only thing. Cool.
I don't know what to do with this, but it just feels cool. All right, well, we have this piece.
All right. Now we can. Oh, this is more good stuff here.
I will explore the dead body. 1102. Mikey squints at a skeleton crushed beneath a rock. This is one of your tricks, isn't it, One-Eyed Willie? You wouldn't have gone through all this trouble if you were really hiding something, would you? I think that's Chester Cobblepots, asked Data. Says Data. Chester who? asked Mouth. Don't you remember from the attic, Data says, trying to jog his friend's memory. See, he continues, they said the last guy who went looking for the rich stuff. They say he went in, but he never came back out. See, that was back in 1935. Oh, if he didn't make it out and he was supposed to be an expert, what about us? Oh, how are we going to get out of here, huh? Hey, what's that around his neck? Mikey says. Looks like some sort of key. He goes back in time and says.
I did that with that guy. I'm going to do the actual backpack, though.
Oh, wait, you didn't.
I did the guy instead of the backpack.
You did the wrong one. Pick up the backpack.
Okay, yeah. Brand hesitantly picks up the backpack and gingerly rummages through it. Hey, Brand exclaims. Look at the stuff inside here. Mikey retrieves a wallet and exclaims, the idea says Chester Copperpots. Oh my gosh, says Andy, froze to it on the spot. We're gonna get killed. Too much, Mouth moans. Brand continues and searches through deceased explorer's belongings for anything that might be useful. Reveal card 14, 15, and 16.
What? Huge.
All the cards.
I found a Lou Gehrig baseball card.
Oh, that is awesome.
I found a book with more numbers that we can examine closer. Wait a minute, these cards fit together. What? And TNT.
They all fit together. Very cool.
Guys, I'm starting to think that these numbers actually fit together, though. Look at this.
Oh, no. The way you had it was a perfect match.
I don't disagree, except it doesn't.
No,
It
that's
does not. It doesn't fit perfectly.
Unless it fits together. I feel like this is giving us a code.
Yeah, eventually it will. From the background, though. But maybe we have to have more items.
Guys, I can now use that dynamite and throw it anywhere.
So let's.
I'm going to throw the dynamite at the book.
What would you do? Explain the book? Would you explore the book? What would you do? Decipher. Mouth would decipher the.
All right, 602.
So it would be. It's 3602, right?
That's correct.
All right.
All the things.
Old man Copperpot's journal must be full of secret messages and stuff, says Mouth, rubbing his hands together eagerly. If you can crack it open, you can crack those codes, Mouth, replies Steph. I don't think your wit is sharp enough to cut through that strap, though, she says wryly. She's got to cut through the strap on the book.
I dislike Steph so much. She's so not helpful. Why don't you read her? Let's see what she says about
She's
the
going to
same
say
thing.
cut through the thing. What is it? What number is it again?
602.
A journal? Is this where we find out who Chester had a crush on? Or is it only Andy who writes that kind of mush in her diary?
Andy socks her. Give me the wrench.
Jokes Steph. Maybe I should tie a leather strap around my diary too, so a certain someone doesn't read it while I'm in the bathroom. Andy replies indignantly. Yeah, she really is annoying. So we have to cut
I'm
the
so
rope.
glad you grabbed that book first. Perfect sense.
So maybe something that has.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
maybe you
let
have
me
a,
check.
cutter thing.
Let me see if I have a
I'm
cutter.
on top of this. I'm on top of this. Brand, data, get on this.
I don't know that I have.
All right, but
Maybe it's one of these other spaces.
guys, we have dynamite.
We're not gonna dynamite the briefcase.
Okay. Meanwhile, let's take a closer look at this Lou Gehrig card.
Okay, that's obviously codes.
Games, at bats, runs, hits, doubles, triples, home runs.
Who would circle a 1933 Lou Gehrig card with ink? You know what that card's worth?
Yeah, it's true. Actually, I don't think there was many baseball cards in 1933. There was a few tobacco cards, maybe.
Oh, there were baseball.
No, there was, right?
There were
Honus
baseball cards with tobacco.
Honus
There are
Wagner.
there are Babe Ruth cards, so they were still.
I don't think they put the stats on them like this. Maybe they did, though. I don't remember.
I wasn't around to know this, and I don't own any cards that age.
I was definitely leading up to that joke.
Yes, I bet you were. Okay, so
Man.
we need to cut something. Maybe we need to explore more, but we obviously have.
Well, we haven't looked at this 802.
We haven't looked at-
I'm going to look at 802.
Or 302.
Oh, we haven't looked at either of those. All right, I'll look at 802 first, because it's higher on the wall.
You're exploring, right?
I am exploring. 802. Look, there's some strange etchings on the wall there and some weird scribbles below the one that looks like a bat,
Yes.
observes Mikey.
Yes.
Mouth,
Ooh.
can you decipher the meaning of this writing?
Amazingly, I can. 3, 8.
Remember, you can use a gadget in a room if you can figure out which
Right.
one.
Yeah.
Bats? Questions Mouth, looking at the etchings. I hate bats. Wait, he says, squinting a little more carefully at the scribbles. I think these etchings are actually a clue, kind of like a visual cipher. I think someone's trying to tell us something. I bet if I can figure these etchings out, I can figure out what these scribbles say. Mouth climbs up a ladder. Is a ladder here? Mouth climbs up a ladder to get closer and spies something shiny on the ground. That might be something useful. Can you pick it up, Brand? I need to focus all my brain power on this picture, Mouth says, staring intently at the bat carved into the wall. B-A-T, mutters Mouth under his breath.
Yeah, that's how you spell bat. Thanks, Mouth.
Reveal card 8 and read entry 2888. That's you.
2888.
Whoa, we got a whole cipher here, guys.
Oh, we got it.
Mouth will be focused on. Well, let's read your thing
Right.
first.
Okay. Following Mouth's request, Brandt grabs the shiny object off the ground. Hey, this is really good old lighter. Brandt gives it a try, producing a small steady flame. Wow, it works. Reveal card 35.
Oh, by the way, someone said that that's not dynamite, that's candles, and I looked at them and they're right. Those are candles.
Those are candles. Wow.
Oh, my word! I'm so excited. But we can't mix these two together because.
Oh, And there's numbers, 6-5.
No, but these are both single numbers.
Yes, very good.
But you're right, there is that 6-5 in the background.
But that might be a code for something else.
Something. All right, also, here's Mouth's cipher. Okay, so what this says is Mouth's focused on finding more of these etchings. He'll be focused on his task. He will no longer interact with anything else. So because we did this, Mouth now goes here. Starting in this room, find etchings in the wall of objects that represent 3-letter words and decipher them with the code below. To check an etching, look up a 4-digit number that starts with Mouth's decipher ability. That's a 3-digit of the image.
So to check an etching, look up 4-digit numbers that start with Mouth's decipher code ability, right? 3.
So like he said bat, for example. So that would
Then
T.
the 3
So that's 2,
digits
1,
of the
2.
image. But wait, but
1,
where are these
2.
images?
Well, there's bat. I see lightning bolt and star, but those can't be it because they're 3-letter words.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Starting in this room, can you? And etchings on. Find. Wait, what's that? What word under Mouth there? Starting in this room, comma, find etchings on
So
the wall.
etching on the wall. So there's a bat, for example. So bat, the code is 212. So look up 3212. And this will happen in these games. Sometimes characters leave and you don't have their book while they're gone.
Cool.
Okay, gotcha.
And then they'll, like you notice we haven't found Chunk and Sloth aren't here yet.
Right. Gotcha. Interesting.
3, 2, 1. I think I figured this out, Mouth says confidently. The bat etching helped me to decipher the scribbles, and they told me to draw a circle. Does anyone have paper? Does anyone have paper? I guess nobody does. There's a lot of room on the back of the map, says Mikey, offering it to Mouth. Just be careful not to damage it. Steph says, if you don't know which end of the pen to use, I can help you draw it.
Steph is not
helpful.
Steph makes me look like the least sarcastic person on earth.
I'm gonna need to be on lookout for some more etchings like this because I think this is only part of the set of instructions, says Mouth, determined to solve this puzzle. So Mouth can't be talked to while he's doing this. You gotta do this thing.
Interesting. Well, you still have Steph. I mean,
Yes.
we need some more sarcastic comments.
So I think the bat etching, I had to decipher the scribbles, and they told me to draw a circle. So
Hey, guys, what if I put the lighter and try to burn the book?
I mean, that is a
No,
thought.
I don't
Or
mean
you
the
can-
book. I mean the belt going
strap.
around the book.
But right, or you can light the candle.
No, I can't light the candle because they're both
single
single-digit numbers. And when she uses an item, it has to be a single digit. It has to be a single digit mixed with a double digit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're both singles. You can't use them together.
Are we supposed to actually draw a circle on the back of this?
Yeah, it says draw a circle.
Well,
and
you
now
have an erasable marker.
draw the circle, and now we got to continue figuring out what these other what symbols
It's
are
a
here.
3-letter symbol, though. A star is not a 3-letter symbol.
There's a circle.
Could it be
Is
something
there
else?
a 3-letter word that's a synonym for star?
Stir.
Sun? But that's not a sun.
Sun.
No one would use a sun to represent a star. Do you want to look up sun?
I don't know. If we do, then they might get
We'll
closer.
get closer.
And that's bolt, lightning bolt, flash.
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
What's this thing? What's that thing up there?
Maybe Steph can look at some of this stuff.
No. The explain. Yes. Okay. The explain.
Why doesn't she explain 802?
Explain 802.
Thanks,
Because
Steph.
she is so good. I think Mouth knows a thing or two about images like these, hints Steph. It's some sort of cipher where the letters of the word can be translated to numbers somehow.
Great,
Very,
thanks, Steph.
really good. She's
I'm
good.
going to
anything with
rank
the
top
three-
10 characters in Goonies. Number 10, Steph.
Did
Number
we do anything
9,
with the 3-digit code on the actual book?
602. He looked that up.
Which one?
Mouth looked it up,
But
I think.
now he's not allowed to look anymore.
Yeah, he's
so.
not allowed to look anymore anyway. No, but when he looked at it, they said we can cut something with it. I'm saying, do you want me to
Oh.
use the 64? Do you want me
Burn
to use
it.
this lighter on the book?
Burn it!
I'm not trying to burn the book. I'm trying to burn the strap
Listen.
around the book.
I've never said no to an idea about setting something on fire, so make it happen.
Wait, someone said there's a stick of dynamite in. Wait, that's candles and dynamite.
Trixie,
No,
Trixie,
where?
Trixie.
That
Was
middle
that-
one. The middle one has no wax on it. That's just dynamite.
Could be.
For sure.
Could be. Wow. Good
That's not even
eyes,
could be,
audience.
that's
How did they know
definitely-
this?
Well, actually, I thought it was all dynamite. I would have gone, but there's a fuse on the one in the middle. The other ones just have wicks.
Wow. Good eyes.
Do you think that that's a number? Okay, do we have? So we made a number here with this one, right? We have 65,
That's
and then this one made a number. The other two went together. What is
Did they
that?
actually finish up making a number, or does it?
Oh
Wait,
no,
did
that's
you
the
put down
bottom. That's the
top?
bottom. What?
What is it all together?
ah.
I can't see any of it from here, Tom.
5.
Yeah, we're gonna put it in the middle of the
What's
table.
right there? What do you mean you can't see it?
Well, it's because it
6, 5, 7?
is that a 7?
No. It's a No.
What is that pattern?
That's a
It looks
triangle.
like 6, 5, 4. 6, 5, 4.
6, 5, 4. It's a 4. Can't you see that?
All right. Well, we can't use mouth.
Mouth cannot do it.
All right, I'll look at it. 1, 6, 5, 4.
Steph's gonna
Yeah.
explain. All right, you might. Yeah.
Steph's not allowed to look at anything. Hey everyone, I think there's a rock we can move over there, he says, looking past Chester Cobblepot's remains. Well, then that would go to who's the person who picks stuff up?
I do.
654.
6, 5, 4. 2, 6, 5, 4. 2, 6, 5, 4. Have you been instructed to open the Goondocs envelope yet? If not, continue exploring. Come back here, okay? If you have opened it, then proceed
we
to
have.
2999. Okay.
Right? Yeah, we both.
Yes, cool. Well, yeah, I guess it was. I wasn't.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Wow, that's a lot to read. Okay. Look at
That is a
this.
4 though, right?
That is definitely a 4.
That's definitely a 4. Look at this. You see what you found, announces Mikey, exploring the cave floor. He pulls something, revealing a wire that was hidden in the sand. Suddenly, there's a click from above. Looking around, he spies a large blade swinging back and forth above their heads. Freeze! Don't move, he warns. What? Asks Data, aware of just how much danger everyone is in. Freeze! Mikey says. Data looks up and notices several boulders the same size as the one that crushed Chester Copperpots.
That's true.
Swaying
I just
precariously.
saw that.
Let's go! Yells Steph obnoxiously. I added that part in. As the boulders fall, crashing to the ground and sending tremors throughout the entire cave. The way back is now blocked from falling rocks, and there's no sign of exit in sight. Okay, they can't get us now, so that's good.
That might be the
Okay,
case.
just
If there's anything I
then.
know about bad guys, they can get through the thing you just worked at for 2 hours, they can do it in a
They
minute.
can do it in a second. That's right.
Just then, Brand spies rocks covering something. Wait! Brand's cautiously holding everyone back. Listen, like somebody's down there, Brand says, putting an ear to the gap. Shut up and listen! Maybe this is the way out, Andy says. Maybe the Fratellis, says Steph, annoyingly. Then Chunk found the police. Maybe Chunk found the police, Data says. He's still trapped in the meat locker. Maybe another of the Willy's booby traps, says Mouth. Brandt grits his teeth and lifts the rock, rolling it off to its side. Little by little, the rock shifts, and Brand feels the movement in the air. Hello? He calls out suddenly as a stream of bats come flying out from the other side. Everyone shields their eyes, screaming as they're buffeted from all directions by leathery wings.
Steph especially.
3d4
I can't imagine
damage.
how much I would yell if a flock of bats flew in my face. I think
Yeah.
one bat.
Yes.
They're in my hair! Shriek both Andy and Mikey.
it's me.
Rabies! We're all gonna get rabies! Cries Steph, panicking. Sit, screams Mouth, as he waves his arms wildly to protect his face, trying to command the bats as if they were dogs. Steph shoves Mouth through
He
the
said
hole.
sit.
Yeah, sit. What'd I say?
No, that's what I'm saying. He told the bats to sit.
I think he's telling everybody else to sit.
Oh, okay.
The other side of the rest of the gang just follows. Just as they go through, they hear the Fratellis in the distance. The criminals are hot on their heels. Reveal map C and attach it to the right side of the boulders, map B. Move the Fratellis forward 2 spaces.
These guys keep coming after us. But look! Oh, now we got another thing. Web, right?
Web definitely
Web.
works.
Web, flag, and lock, and boat. But I think most of them are 3 letters. Web is the...
So can he? No, he's.
No, he can still do that.
Yes,
so
'cause he
web
is, right.
is...
This is right. So once he does this.
Is 552.
3552.
3, 5, I do. Checkerboard.
Yep, that's below us.
Oh, okay. Mouth scrutinizes the etchings of the web and deciphers it using his skills. I've got to draw what? 2 triangles on top of this circle? I wonder why, he questions, putting pen to paper. 2 triangles on top of the circle.
Like a
It's your
dog.
turn. This is your character.
Okay.
Do them upside down like a dog.
So it's like a... like that, right?
Okay, that's a pig, but whatever.
So basically that. It's a dog or a pig. It's an animal. It looks like it's going to be an animal. All right. And what was the next one?
And
No, right? You said you have another...
that, folks, is where we're going to have to pull the plug on this.
No! Why? Why? No way! I'm playing.
Well, you can still play when we turn it off.
I want to do the boat and the flag. And
They're not 3-letter words.
I got things to do here. Mouth.
We don't want to spawn more of
Steph's
it.
got to complain. Come on. Go look at my diary.
Okay, so anyway, well,
You should
that
go
way,
watch the movie.
honestly, there's a whole lot of this you haven't seen. We only opened 2 of the envelopes, and we only seen. Again, if you look how many cards are here,
There's a lot
here there's 42 cards, and we've looked at like 6 of them.
2 of the 8 envelopes only, and one was like basically the starter one.
That's
and,
huge. That's awesome.
And there's lots of characters, so this will be really good playing with a fairly high player count too.
Yeah, because and I played it. I played the other one with 3 too. And it was nice splitting the books up, but you're right. If you have 6, then everyone.
And then
can
I
have a
could just
book.
sit there and whine the whole time as Steph. That would be so
But then
cool.
you see when Sloth and Chunk join, Chunk has 6 and 7. I think he.
He's got a
try
lot.
I think he can try to eat stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you got 6s and 7s.
Chunk can explore and pick up,
Okay.
Oh,
and
nice.
Sloth can use just like Andy could use things.
So maybe they get split up or something like that. Who knows?
awesome.
Who knows?
Yeah, look again.
This is
I
cool.
understand. I understand that people want to see more of this, but we really don't want to spoil the whole thing. I mean, you really want to. Then there'll be no reason for you to get
I
it.
would like to spoil it all for you.
You're a
You should
hero.
definitely check it out. It's a lot
I'm
of
a
fun.
hero to
Why
these
don't,
people.
why don't you tell people what happens in the new Spider-Man movie too?
Oh, that was great. No, I didn't see it yet.
Obviously, it's not out yet. Alrighty, folks, stick around. We got an hour and a half more of content for you. Top 10 lists. You know, I know I looked at the thing.
Schedule's
there.
over there.
I know. I looked
Chris,
at it.
make yourself useful. Get the
Now
schedule.
we got top 10 kids games coming. We got you know what? Huh? 2-player games and more. We're just going to play this for you, and then we'll be back here live tomorrow morning. We got crowd surfing and more. Mr. Boniger is going to show up tomorrow.
All day.
Yes,
Most
a
of
good
it.
chunk of the day. We're going to be playing through games. One thing you're going to like tomorrow is our first of our big top 10 lists. We have the best games of the year, and that will be Roy, Chris, Wendy, and Camilla.
The
And then-
A-team.
The A team. Then the B team.
The Bonicore team.
That would be me.
The Boniger team. There'll be the next day. Will be Mr. Boniger, Mike, me, and Z giving our top 10 games. And there's more. So there's a lot more content for you, and it's not over yet today. Stick around. But until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Roy Canning.
And I'm Stephen Bonacore.
And this has been Escape with One-Eyed Willie's Rich Stuff.
Very
Goonies
cool.
never.
Hi.
I'm Jordan. If you follow my stuff, you know that I like to play quick games, games that are easy to learn, games that are kind of nice to play after like a long day of working and parenting and all of that kind of stuff. Not a game that's going to take a long time to set up, not a game that's going to take too much mental energy, but a game that's going to feel, you know, it's a fun thing to do after kind of a long day. And, you know, I think, you know, I do like some heavier games. I do like some kind of meatier kind of games, but I'll let some other people talk about those. And I think some people might call a lot of these games kind of filler games, and I don't, because I don't really play these games as a way to fill time between other games. These games just kind of, you know, the only thing they fill really is my heart. So let's talk about them. So the first game I have on my list is Goblin Teeth. Goblin Teeth is a small auction game from Jelly Bean Games. I think this one kind of went under the radar. It was a weird kind of Kickstarter fulfillment during COVID, but I think it ended up coming in release at the very beginning of 2021. And in this game, you are trying to outbid the other players, but you're doing that using dice. You're going to roll all these dice, and then you're going to have these goblin-y items out on the table, and you are placing dice on these cards to try to outbid your opponents. There's some rules about goblins, and you can't tie and things like that when it comes to the auction, obviously. And you're trying to collect the most goblin-y stuff, and you're going to score points for that. I don't like how the game looks. I don't like the artwork in it, but the game just plays really quickly. It's a game you can kind of get in and out of, and it has a lot of kind of interesting twists to kind of that small auction game kind of feel. So if you're into that kind of stuff, definitely check out Goblin Teeth. Next game on my list is Picture Perfect. Picture Perfect is a really unique game with a really cool theme where you are a photographer trying to stage a family for a family portrait. And everybody is, wanting different things. And so you have to figure this out almost Clue style, where you're going to be passing these envelopes of cards around where everybody has different kind of requirements and things that they want the picture to look like. And so you as the photographer are trying to balance these things. Who wants to stand next to each other? Who doesn't want to stand next to each other? Who doesn't want this person to be seen? All of those kinds of things. And you're trying to please as many people as you can, but these demands are going to be conflicting. They're not all going to match up perfectly. And so you as the photographer have to get everybody in position around this table, and you get to take a great picture. And it has a great production, really interesting theme, really interesting gameplay. It's one of the most unique games I played this year, and it's definitely one that kind of brings in new players because they just want to look around and hover and be like, what's going on there? So Picture Perfect. It's Picture Perfect. So this year, Phil Walker Harding released it feels like a ton of games. It feels like the most games he's ever released in a year, and I love Phil Walker Harding games, and I feel like I could have included at least 4 games that he released this year on this list, but I'm only going to do 2, I promise. And so the first one, of course, is Super Mega Lucky Box, which is a flip and write game. It has a bingo-esque kind of feel to it where you're going to flip over a card that has a number, and everybody's going to cross off that number on one of your bingo cards, and you're trying to get rows and columns completed. Whenever you complete the rows and columns, you get to check off another box somewhere else. We're kind of pinging back and forth and getting these chains and combos. Whenever you finish a bingo card, you get to score points for that, and you're trying to complete as many of these bingo cards as you can by the end of the game. It feels like a game that it almost feels like it should have already been created. It feels like it pulls some things from some other games, but it kind of feels like it does them better, and it's very streamlined, and it just kind of feels like a game that already existed because of how naturally it plays. So Super Mega Lucky Box, I dig it. Now, the best party game I played this year is called So Clover. I don't have it because I've lent it out to people because it is so good, and I want other people to be playing it. And this is definitely the best party game I played in 2021. And to me, it feels almost like a cross between Just One and Codenames. It feels like Just One because it is cooperative, but you also have these dry erase boards that you're kind of writing on. But it feels like Codenames, where you are connecting 2 words with 1 clue. So in Codenames, you're giving clues to try to meet a bunch of different words. So in So Clover, it feels like that, only you're always giving a clue that matches 2 words. And so it has that thinky party game kind of feel that Codenames has, in which you are trying to kind of be clever with your wordplay, clever with your clues, and it's just one where, and it's also one of the ones like Just One, where people can kind of come and go as the game goes on, and you don't have to keep score. You just kind of play it until everybody's done. So Clover, if you're into these kind of party games, I would definitely check it out. It's really good. The Key series from Haba is one that is a kind of light deduction game that feels, kind of Clue-esque in a way, where you're trying to collect information to figure out like the who, the how, the what, the when, those kinds of things to a kind of a mystery. And in this one, it's done simultaneously in real time. You're going to have all these cards scattered across the table, and they're going to have different clues on them, and you're going to draw cards at random, and you're trying to collect this information. You're going to write on these dry erase boards and try to collect this information to figure out who was where when. who wasn't around, who saw this person, and you're trying to collect all this information. You're trying to come to an answer before the other players at the table in as few clue cards as you can. It's just a great light deduction game. The system is really engaging and really interesting. It works well with kids. May, my daughter, it's become one of her favorite games of all time because of how kind of interesting that is. And with younger kids, you can even play it cooperatively if you wanted to and walk them through kind of the thought process and the deduction decisions in there. So that's the Clue from Haba. Really solid, and there's a couple of these versions out. This is Sabotage at Lucky Llama Land, which is also a great way to get into the series. We're halfway. My number 5 game of the year is probably my most unique game. I know I talked about how unique Picture Perfect is, but Micro Macro is the most unique game I played this year. It has, you know, it's a mystery solving game in which you're going to have this giant cartoon illustrated map that's going to have all these things and little Easter eggs and little details that you're going to be learning about. And you're going to move through these really small decks of cards, maybe like 4 or 5 cards that are going to have different questions on them. And you're trying to move through these questions to figure out what happened during this case. It is not always kid appropriate, even though it has kind of a cartoon art style. It has some adult theming in it, but it has just some really interesting ways, and it's fun to discover stuff. It has a Where's Waldo aspect to it where you're just kind of looking through this massive picture of all the details, trying to find that car, and where did that car go after it turned down that alley, and I don't see it down the alley. Did they get out of the car? Are they on foot now? And you're just going through this, trying to figure this all out, and it just feels so interesting. And it's not replayable. I don't have it because I've already passed it along, but it's one where they're going to have other versions of it. It won the Spiel des Jahres, so you know there's going to be more riffs and iterations on this system, and frankly, I'm here for it. Great Plains is made by the same team that brought us Mandala, which is one of my favorite 2-player games of all times, which is a back and forth little card game where you are trying to collect sets of different colored cards. Great Plains is nothing like that. Same designer, same artist, same everything, but this is almost an area control game. It feels like a very condensed version of Through the Desert or Blue Lagoon, where you're placing these markers on a hex board and you're trying to control sections of the board, but it has also these action spaces that are allowing you to place in other parts of the board and allowing you to kind of mess with your opponent by pushing them around the board a little bit, which makes for some really interesting tactical elements, which is just really satisfying, really cool. Great Plains. If you're want to look like a quick 2-player game, definitely check this one out. Really, really good. Juicy Fruits is a pretty basic resource management game. It is a game in which you are collecting fruit. It's got these cool chunky wooden pieces, collecting these fruit, and you're going to turn them in to turn in orders. It feels like a very, almost derivative game, but what is really interesting about it is that the way you're collecting these resources is you have a grid slide puzzle in front of you, and you're going to have these different tokens on the slide puzzle, and however far you slide them, if you slide it 2 spaces, you get 2 of that kind of fruit. And as you're doing this, you're going to be turning in these sets of fruit, and you're going to be able to expand your board in different directions, so your board's going to be getting bigger, and it almost feels engine building-esque, where you're getting more efficient as the game goes on, and you're going to be adding some different action tiles on there so you can slide those and take some additional actions too. So the game opens up as you're playing. You get more and more choices, more and more options, and it just feels really satisfying. And it's one that, it's got some puzzly aspects to it, really cool production, and just kind of sings for that kind of level of complexity I'm looking for in a game, and plays really smoothly, and it kind of feels a little familiar, but also has that cool hook that kind of brings you in. So Juicy Fruits, really good. All right, I said I was only going to talk about 2 Phil Walker Harding games. The other one is Llama Land. Yes, the second game on my list that includes Llama Land in the title, but here we are. This is a polyomino tile placement game where it almost feels like a cross between Barren Park and Gingerbread House, both Phil Walker Harding games. And this is a game in which you're going to have these polyomino tiles, and they're going to have different resources on them. And you're going to be stacking the tiles, and depending on how you stack the tiles, you collect resources. Then you're going to turn in the resources to get llamas to come and eat your pastures as well. And you're trying to meet these objective cards that are shared amongst all the players, and you're just trying to be efficient in how you are placing them. You're getting these upgrade cards that are going to allow you to kind of manipulate that a little bit, and it just kind of works super well for me. It almost feels like a game that was made for me for like the light resource management, the polyominoes, the Clemens Franz artwork. It all just kind of comes together in a package that is super appealing to me, and one that I really like. It's a Phil Walker Harding game, so it's super streamlined, but there's enough in there that really there's enough teeth to it that makes you want to keep coming back to it. And I really, really enjoy Llama Land. It could become one of my favorite Phil Walker Harding games. And my favorite game of the year came out of nowhere. It's Land vs. Sea. It's from Good Games Publishing, which I'm kind of hit or miss with their games, but this almost feels like a kind of a nod, an homage to older tile laying games, like maybe like Carcassonne or Cacao. And this one has hex tiles, and you're going to be building this landscape map out. And one player is land, one player is sea. The land is going to score for all the land masses that are completed. The sea is going to score for all the sea masses that are completed. And that's it. There are some modules you can kind of fold in and make the game a little bit more complex and ramp that up. But it's at its core, it is just a pure tile laying game, map making game that it looks really classic, almost timeless. And it just, oh my gosh, it came out of nowhere for me. I played it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And it has a 3-player mode that you don't sleep on. I slept on it for a little bit. Don't sleep on the 3-player mode. It is tight. It is interesting. It scores in very unique ways, and it works surprisingly well. So this is a 2 to 3-player game, tile laying, map making, homage to Carcassonne. One of my favorite of this year. I definitely think, whether it's short games, long games, my favorite game of the year, Land vs. Sea. So there you have it. Those are my favorite quick games of the year. These are games that could be played under an hour. Most of these are under a half hour as well. Let me know if there's other games that you think would fit this pretty well. There are a bunch that I have not played this year. I mean, I'm very grateful for the games I have been able to play. There have been so many great games this year. I haven't been able to play Seven Wonders Architects. I haven't been able to play 10 from AEG or Cascadia, and I think I would really dig all of those games. I just haven't been able to play those. I haven't been able to play Meadow enough to really feel like it's a good fit on this list, but I want to play more games from this year that kind of fit this wheelhouse, so definitely let me know in the comments, and I'll definitely try to check them out. But it's been a great year for games. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, because I have this pile of games right here, and there's so much fun that I've had with them, and there's so much fun I hope you guys can have with them too. So, to a great 2022. I hope it's better than this year, guys. I'm Jordan. Thanks.
I'm Tom Vassell, and I'm talking about my favorite kids games that we played together with my family this year in 2021. There's a lot of kids games that come out every year, and most of them are straight up trash. I think there's a lot of great ones, though, ones that you will have fun, you as an adult, playing with the kids, or at least the kids will have fun playing by themselves. Here are 10 great ones that came out this year, my favorites. Number 10, we have Pebble Rock Delivery Service. This is a game in which you are this little animal sea captain sailing around, picking up deliveries and delivering them to different spots. And you can kind of decide how fast you want to go, although if you're too fast, the shark and the pirate might come after you. This game has one of the most gorgeous presentations of any kids game that's out there. It really looks great, and kids like it because you have to decide how far and how fast you want to move as you go pick up things and deliver them. Pebble Rock Delivery Service. Number 9 is Hungry Hugo. Of all the games on this list, this is probably the simplest one. There's this gorilla, Hugo, who's going around and smashing down the decorations that you're putting around your house. This is a very simple card game. You play cards, put decorations up. You play cards to send Hugo at somebody else. You roll a die. Sometimes he goes after the person who sent him. It's silly fun, and my kids just really enjoyed it, especially my youngest, as you get to play cards and move Hugo around and knock over stuff from your opponents. Number 8 is Necromolds. Necromolds is a miniatures game where you have things, these weird creatures that you summon who go attack your opponent's creatures. Why would I want to play that with kids? Because all the creatures are made of Play-Doh, essentially. You make them, and when you defeat your opponent's creatures, you smash it into a pile of goop. Now, what kid doesn't like that? The answer is they all love it. It's really entertaining. And the game actually comes with some advanced rules. If you want to play Necromolds against other adults or older kids, it works there. But even for younger kids, there's a very simple set of rules where you just basically move, roll some dice, see if you hit, and then if you hit, smash. Everyone loves smashing Play-Doh things. You always want to break your opponent's pieces. This is a game where it's perfectly legitimate to do so. And it's also fun putting your army together at the beginning by putting the Play-Doh in these different molds, the Necromolds. Number 7 is Dreamcatcher. This is a simple game, but what it does is it uses some visual perception. You have these different monsters and dreams, things, and you need to cover them with discs. But you need to figure out what disc you can cover them with. Are you going to pick the smallest disc? It gives you more points, but it might not cover them, and you have to kind of judge this visually. Very simple concept, but many kids' games are based on such a simple concept. And this one I found the kids did better at me many times at judging just what will cover up the different cards that you flip over. So that's Dreamcatcher. Number 6 is Ghost Adventures. So now we get to games that use a unique gimmick. This one uses a spinning top. In this game, you are spinning a top and moving around this top on a different board. But here's the thing. I need to get it from one board to another board. I'm trying to accomplish different missions. So you're holding one board, and I'm going to move it so the top goes onto your board, and then you move it and go to a different spot. And we might need to flip the board over and get to the other side, and there's little holes and things in the boards, which basically are difficult things that you want to avoid. It's a cooperative game that everyone's going to like a lot. It comes with a little comic book instructions. It's silly fun, but it's all about balancing that top and trying to make it go where you want to go. Kids will enjoy this. Adults will find it to be quite hard for them also, and has bright, colorful artwork. It's a lot of fun. That's Ghost Adventures. Well, same thing here with number 5, which is Catapult Kingdoms. This is essentially a reworking of Weapons and Warriors. As a kid, where you have all these different things that you can get for this, catapults and trebuchets and crossbows and catapults, and you're shooting different objects, and one of the sets comes with the little beehives that bounce all over the place, but usually they're little balls at your opponent's creatures, and they're little soldiers in their towers. This is a toy. It's a toy for sure. It's a game, and there's lots of fun, and so you look at my review of it. I talked about all the different pieces that you get for it, but it is entertaining. I have strong nostalgia of playing crossbows and catapults and Weapons and Warriors when I was a kid. This brings it back, and it does so in a good way so that I can introduce this to my son, who's like, wow, we get to shoot things at each other, and I'm still having a blast. Sometimes you just want to play, and Catapult Kingdoms allows you to do so. Number 4 is Hammer Time. Yes, not that song. This game, you flip the box over, put some gems on it, and hit it with a hammer, trying to knock off not too many gems, because then you bust, and the right colors to match your cards. Very simple, but knowing how hard to hit the box, what side to hit the box on. And again, this is one where kids and adults can play on a very even keel. This is another one that we played live here on the Dice Tower. You can see me playing it with my son. See how much he enjoys it. This game works for all ages, but is especially good for the younger set. All right, the top 3 games here are just absolutely phenomenal, and I think everyone should get them if you have kids. Number 3, Coded Chronicles Quest for the Moonstones. There's a very popular adult game called Chronicles of Crime, in which you go around and you scan QR codes with your phone and you solve a murder mystery. I don't know if I want my kids to be playing something with gruesome murders, but in this one, Quest for the Moonstones, it's very similar to that, where you're going to go through this fantasy adventure and play through and find out the missing prince or whatever the story of the day is. You get to some locations and you have to pick the phone up and look around, find items. You use cards. So it's a kind of a marriage of technology with a board game, but it does so very seamlessly and is just so entertaining. Very highly recommended. Number 2, which has a very similar name. So number 3 was Coded Chronicles Quest for the Moonstones. Number 2 is just Quest Kids. This is a game in which again, it's cooperative, and I found cooperative games really work well for kids. In fact, all 3 of my top games are cooperative. But in this game, you are kind of doing a dungeon crawl. You're moving your characters through and flipping cards over. And even though the theme of it's cooperative, there's still one winner at the end of this one because you're trying to get points by going around and defeating monsters. But this game teaches cooperation because you help other players. I can't beat my monster. Oh, I can give you some cards to help you beat them. But then you get a reward for doing that. So yes, you're kind of helping people for a reward, which is probably not the best way in real life, but it does reinforce that, hey, help other people. And the game works so well in this regard. It's so fun, and you go through different missions. And so yeah, I call this cooperative. I guess it's more semi-co-op because the theme is co-op. We're all fighting the different monsters as different heroes, but there is one winner each time. But also, there's a whole another pack you can add to add a whole storyline to it. But it's so much fun and easy to play. And some of the best experiences I've had this year was playing this with my son. Number 1, my favorite kids game of 2021 is Yummy Yummy Monster Tummy. This is another game that uses scanning technology. For this one, I use my iPad. You can use your phone. Different monsters show up, and you have a handful of cards, and you are feeding these monsters by putting them over it, letting the camera scan it to feed them, and you're trying to mesh together colors to match that color. So the monster might be purple. You have a red card. I have a blue card. Boom, we got it. But with 3 players, you have a red, I have a blue, you have this greenish card. Is that the combination of colors? This is a game I would want to play as an adult. I don't know what it is about this game. We've played this game more than any other game on this list. It's so much fun. You play it over and over and over again. The name sounds ridiculous, Yummy Yummy Monster Tummy. But it's a fun game that, once again, marries that technology. You're using an iPad, but not as that. It's sitting on a table. It's like part of the board game. And then using these cards, and it has a little bit of a story progression, and you add more cards to the deck. Sometimes you have to play everything in black and white. It's such a unique, interesting experience that is just a blast to play. So these are my 10 favorite kids games from 2021. I recommend that you check them out. For kids of all different ages, hopefully this gives you some ideas. I'm Tom Vassell, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.
Hey everybody, Z Garcia here, and today I'm bringing you my top 10 games for 2 players out of 2021. Now, these are not all exclusively games for 2 players, though many of them are. They are just experiences I enjoyed at a 2-player count, and there is a whole slew of different kinds of games in here. So if you enjoy combat games, you'll find something in here, maybe more abstracted ideas, trick-taking, you're going to get some of that in here, all sorts of stuff. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it with number 10. My number 10 is a word game made from the folks that make Exploding Kittens, and this is called A Little Wordy. It is a game only for 2 players in which you are trying to do a little deduction and figure out what word your opponent has come up with and is hiding from you by triggering abilities on certain cards on the table that will give you information. What's the first letter? Show them a letter, and if they have that letter, they have to say yes or no. Things like that, things of that nature. Those powers have costs, and you are trying to spend as little as possible and figure out your opponent's word in the fewest moves available to you, right? So it's very neat. It's a simple game, certainly very straightforward game, but it manages to do something clever, something outside the box. And while word games are certainly not my favorite style of game, if I was going to play a quick, simple one with just 2 players, I think this would be my pick right here. So for an interesting little word style, word-themed kind of game and about deduction and creating words, a little wordy is the one you're looking for. Next up, we're taking a look at Rift Force. Rift Force is a head-to-head combat kind of game. Something akin to a Lost Cities, perhaps, or Schaden Taten, in which you are fighting each other over specific locations. But in this one, each of those cards not only has a value and a number, but a special ability. You are going to draft different factions at the beginning of the game. Those will make up your deck, and then you can trigger those abilities on your characters. They will deal damage to characters across from them, move your opponent's characters around, maybe rearrange even your own side in order to try to protect your people while eliminating your opponent's characters. That's basically it. It's very light for this kind of game. So if you want something that is combative, that is head-to-head, but you don't want a lot of rules overhead, then this is a good one for that play experience. So that is Rift Force. Next up, I've got a trick-taking card game called Jekyll versus Hyde. And in this one player is, of course, playing Jekyll, the other one Hyde, that other personality within the same body. And one of you is trying to have the 2 players win the exact same amount of tricks. You want balance within your personalities. The other player wants there to be a big difference between the 2, and they don't care who takes the most tricks. They just want the 2 numbers to be as far apart from each other as possible. And therein lies the interest in the game. So you have to manage your hand of cards. If you are the one who is trying to have that same number of tricks, you have to know when to lose one, when to win one. Same thing for the other player, of course, but they're acting as the chaos maker in many ways. It's very interesting. It manages to do a nice amount with very few components. It's a few tokens, a little board, which denotes the progress that the points that the players are earning, and then a small deck of cards and some tokens, like I said. So that's it. It's got gorgeous artwork, very neat theme. I like this Jekyll and Hyde theme, and it's one of a very select few games that are trick-taking games for 2 players. Well, here's another one, and it's a good one. Jekyll versus Hyde. This next one is a particularly interesting design. It is an abstract game that almost looks like a chessboard, and well, in this case, technically 3 chessboards, but it's also a very funny game. It's called That Time You Killed Me, and it is a time-traveling design, that's the idea, in which you are traversing through these 3 boards, the present, the past, and the future, and trying to eliminate your opponent from one of these boards. You will, as you play the game, introduce new rules because there's hidden packages in the box which you open as you finish new games. So you'll open something up, there'll be some new content in there, and you can incorporate that into your new sessions of the game. But the writing in the rule book is very humorous. The theme is sort of tackled in a humorous way, and yet the game is thinky. It's a crunchy kind of game. You have to know how to manipulate all of these things offered to you while attempting to survive. Also, production quality here through the roof. Really a very nice production. So That Time You Killed Me, if you're looking for something, perhaps for someone who enjoys chess or something of its ilk, and yet you want something much lighter hearted, something a little sillier, that will still engage the old noggin. So That Time You Killed Me is a good one for that. At number 6, I've got Destinies, which plays 1, 2, or 3 players. And in it, you are going to be exploring a map and trying to fulfill your destiny as you find new locations, encounter new people, explore new interesting things on this board that you are making up with tiles as you move around. Now, this game has an app assistance. There's an app that is required, and that app is going to show you new encounters, ask you to make new tests and checks and things like that, have you rolling dice and checking your success rates. It feels a bit like an much more exploratory Mansions of Madness. And it has one particularly clever system with these sliders, or sort of these tracks, that denote how many successes you get. You'll have a slide going, say, 1 through 12 with pegs, wooden pegs in there. And for every one of those your rolled check passes, you count 1 success. Of course, you get to move them in game. So as you drop them lower, it's easier to pass that spot and make that check. Some negative things will push them up. So it'll be harder to make it to that point. Really interesting stuff. Gorgeous, well implemented, and the whole thing is very cohesive. And again, you can play it with up to 3 players, with everyone having a bit of a secret destiny they can pursue. So if you enjoy that mashup between app assistance and exploration, this is going to be a good one for you. Number 5 for me is one of those tiny little wallet games from Button Shy Games, and this is called Death Valley. Death Valley also has a solitaire mode, but it is basically a 2-player game in which you are going to be traversing through various landscapes, finding animals, finding picturesque locations in Death Valley. You will be managing your cards in front of you, and it has very much a push your luck feel to it. You will be drawing new cards, sometimes face up, but sometimes face down, and if you have too many of the same kind of card, then you will bust and lose some of those cards. You are trying to fulfill not just what the card is giving you as symbols, which you can use towards scoring conditions, but the very scoring conditions printed on the cards. Some of them have built-in victory points, just straight up points, but also something that if you achieve, you get more victory points for. Like many of these wallet games, which are only 18 cards, by the way, the cards are multi-use. They manage to do a lot with very little surface. So they'll show you a picture, but points over here and a number here and a special ability over here. But they managed to look gorgeous. This is some of my favorite artwork this year, to be honest. And the game is engaging. It does set collecting with that really neat push your luck, figure out when to go in strong or when to give something up, when to take a rest turn and kind of back down from what's going on. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was superb. So Death Valley is my number 5 pick. At number 4, I've got a game that perhaps most people would not think of right away when trying to come up with 2-player games. But my favorite player count for Ankh, Gods of Egypt, is 2 players. It's the most engaging for me. I find it to be a neat mental exercise that still manages to be dripping with theme. You are going to, it'll be sort of a tit-for-tat fight as you are moving your units around the board, taking actions, summoning new figures onto the board, splitting up the landscape, and trying to control different monuments in all these different landscapes. Very much enjoy it. It'll be a wonderful combination of gorgeous, overproduced, incredible miniatures and artwork and all of that, with a game that doesn't really feel like the typical shouting, bloody murder kind of game. It's much more methodical and thinky than that. So Ankh, Gods of Egypt, at 2 players, is something I recommend you try. It will be, I suspect, something you very much enjoy. My number 3 is the 2nd edition of Summoner Wars. Summoner Wars is a fantastic 2-player dueling game in which you'll be moving cards and summoning cards onto the board, where they will behave basically like miniatures and attack your opponent, trying to eliminate their summoner. Well, 2nd edition changes a decent amount. The cadence of the game is going to be a little bit different. Some of the upkeep is going to be a little bit different. Turn structure. And then it also comes with these very cool custom dice, now with not just pips, but symbols on the sides for melee attacks, for ranged attacks, as well as a special symbol that some cards will utilize for big, grandiose, special abilities. So The core box for this has 6 factions in there. There's already been a release with 2 more factions. You could just pick that up and play that, actually. That's standalone, but you can, of course, combine it. And I think they did a wonderful job updating this, brightening up the artwork, making it sort of pop a little bit more, and having another pass at the rules, smoothing some things out. So definitely recommend it. If you've not played Summoner Wars before, and you like the style of game, I would definitely say go get it and check this one out. And if you have the first one, you might even want to consider, upgrading your edition so that you have something that maybe you can get to the table a little more easily. So there you go, Summoner Wars 2nd edition. All right, we're in the top 2, and I thought both of these were just fantastic 2-player only games. My number 2 pick is a game called Botanic. And Botanic is a tile-laying, tile-drafting sort of game in which you are in this strange laboratory and you are going to be taking tiles, placing them onto a central board in order to both program them and then ultimately release them. The problem is when you release something, you might release your own and your opponent's. You don't want to do that. So you have to be tricky with the symbols, with the shapes, and the colors you are selecting. Once they do get released, you will build them in front of you, connecting some piping and trying to have large groups of the same color, trying to collect these interesting flowers that are growing out of the pipes in order to get victory points, and ultimately just trying to outmaneuver your opponent, slow them down while you speed yourself up. It's very interesting. It's got some minimalistic sort of scoring, so everything is really important in it. But I thought the artwork, the strange uniqueness to this world, the grit of it a little bit, but seen through a very shiny lens. I thought the look was great, but then the gameplay itself is lovely. Quick turns, nice cadence back and forth, and then a fun puzzle that you can mess with as you are building all this up, trying to, again, outmaneuver the opponent. So Botanic, if you like all of that, if you are, for example, a fan of Lost Cities, which I mentioned earlier, you got to check this one out. I think you'll like it. That is my number 2. And then finally, at number 1, I've got a game called Great Plains, a game for 2 players only, in which it's a fairly abstracted game, to be fair, but it is supposed to be tribal in nature. 2 tribes, represented by adorable animal meeples, are going to be moving on the board, showing up next to themselves, sort of coming out of caverns and so forth, trying to control specific areas. And this is an area majority style game. You will be also collecting special ability tokens and using those when appropriate. You say you land somewhere that gives you a little horse token. Well, you can use that by cashing that in, and instead of placing yourself right next to where you would go, skip a space, go a little bit further. Or maybe you have an eagle and you can jump over a mountain range and land on the other side of that. All of this maneuvering is very interesting, and you have to both conserve your figures, you only have so many, but also know when to hold a position, know when to make a push towards something, know when to misdirect your opponent as to something you think you might be trying to take over and sneak over here and take up something that maybe they weren't looking at. Really enjoyable, short, very quick, very simple game, but a lot of flexibility and setup. It's got a really neat, shuffled set of tiles that make the board, so that's very distinct. And then the special abilities are just enough to give you interesting things to think about without being overwhelming. There's only 3 special abilities. You'll know them immediately, basically. Really like this. Vibrant, it pops, it's quick. You can play twice in a row very easily. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was just one of those designs that felt both very fresh and like a classic. So that is Great Plains. And that's going to do it for me, everybody. That is 10 fantastic 2-player experiences from 2021. I hope you discovered something new and maybe help me discover something new. Tell me below some 2-player experiences you had this year that you thought were just spectacular. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. All right, that's going to do it. My name is Z Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.
Howdy, and welcome to the Dice Tower's Winter Spectacular. I'm Eric Summerer.
I'm the Brandt.
And we're here to talk about our top games of 2021. Hope you're having a wonderful winter season so far. I'm kind of sad that we don't get to be there in person, Brandt. We are here in the cold of Connecticut, while everybody down in Florida is enjoying what I'm assuming is lovely weather.
Yes, well, it is still spectacular, but it's a winter spectacular up here. And we've had snow, we've had cold up here in Connecticut. So we are in winter, even though technically the calendar says no yet.
Exactly. So we should get into it, just smack into our top 10. Why don't you start, Brandt? I feel like you should lead the way on this one.
All right, I'm going to cheat and double up as we do. So there's a game I really want to mention, but I don't think it's in my top 10. So I'm doing one honorable mention. That's it.
Okay, fine. If you're going to do an honorable mention, I'm going to do an honorable mention. All right. Go ahead.
So I want to do Golden Ticket.
Okay.
So Golden Ticket, I actually forget who the publisher is on it. I feel bad. But Golden Ticket is a Willy Wonka or a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory themed game. Yep. It is phenomenal. It comes with little Wonka bars that you fill and you hide the golden tickets in them. And then it's essentially like a worker placement action selection. But the best part is the cards. You get cards that are all of the various Wonka candies, and they can play a lot of different combinations and ways to use those cards to kind of like score yourself points. Or points allow you to like get money to buy Wonka bars. And then at the end, it's amazing. Everybody opens their bars to see who got a golden ticket. Yep. And there can be more than one golden ticket. So more than one person can win. If you get two, you can opt to give it to somebody so they win too, or you can just keep it and get double. It's phenomenal. It's such a great family game. It's a low price point, mass market game. And it just didn't quite make it in my top 10. I feel like I didn't play it enough to kind of warrant putting it in there, but a great, great game. Golden Ticket.
My honorable mention is one that I didn't actually get a chance to play in time to go on the list. It probably would fall somewhere on here. That's Ryan Lockett's Sleeping Gods, which just looks gorgeous. It arrived like as I was moving to my new house and setting things up, and it just became overwhelming, and I never actually delved into it. But I know it made a lot of people's top lists, and that's why it's not on mine yet. I just haven't gotten it to the table.
All right. Well, my number 10, no cheating now, is Cascadia by AEG. And this is a game we actually played together. Yeah. We might be saying that for several games on our list because we got to play a lot more together this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cascadia is a tile placement drafting game. You get tiles, you build out a whole, there's like 5 various terrains and you're building them out. And then you're collecting wooden tokens with animals on them and placing them on various spaces. And the beauty of the game is the tokens don't have to go on the tile you selected. And you always have like 3 spaces open. So it's just got great decision space. And then each of the different animals scores in a different way. And there's a variety of ways they can score each game. So it's just that simple mechanisms, good interaction, good competition with a varied way of scoring that just kind of, makes each game feel different, even though you're kind of doing the same thing. So that's Cascadia from AEG, my number 10.
An excellent game. I did not put it on my list. It just barely missed it. I think probably in the early teens, so 11 or 12 for me, but an excellent choice. My number 10 is a new variant on the How to Host a Murder style of game. It's called Crimes and Capers, Lady Leona's Last Wishes. This comes with suggestions on hosting a social event, dressing up in costumes. You can have up to 6 players playing different roles. They're written wonderfully. You're reading diary entries to discover where Lady Leona hid her fortune, who deserves it, all of this stuff. It's cooperative-ish. And it's just a blast to put together. But I highly recommend, don't just throw this out at a convention or something, or play it thinking you have an hour to kill. You want to make this an event and actually plan, invite people, have them dressed with the pocket squares and everything for Crimes and Capers, Lady Leona's Last Wishes. My number 10.
Oh, that sounds great. I can't wait to do that. We've done many murder mysteries. In fact, I'm in my attic here as my recording studio, and we did it as a speakeasy one time for a murder mystery, which was amazing. People had to knock the secret knock to get in and everything. So it's right up my alley being an actor
Cool.
to do these. So that sounds
Oh,
exciting.
you would absolutely love the improv and the character voices, and it's a blast.
Nice. Awesome. Can't wait to check it out. All right. My number 9 is So Clover, which is definitely been one of my favorite party games of this year. In fact, my favorite party game of this year, I would say. So Clover, obviously a play on So Clever. You've got a 4-leaf clover and you're taking clues and you're trying to, or keywords, I guess, and you're trying to create a clue to link those two. So it's very much like a cooperative version of Codenames. You're trying to figure out how to link these words. I guess there are cooperative versions of Codenames as well.
Yes.
But everybody, it's kind of got two phases where everybody's going to kind of create their clues, and then you mix everything up and you actually add a 5th card to the 4 cards you have, which is a very clever mechanism just to throw people off a little bit. And then you work cooperatively to try to reconstruct what everybody had. And there's just a lot of fun and a lot of like variant ways to play. It's that classic game where you don't really play the rules and the scoring. You're just playing to have fun. Yeah, it's been great to bring out it with gamers, with family, all those kind of things. So that's So Clover, which is Repost Productions, which is Asmodee.
So Clover's okay. My number 9 is Vagrant Song. This is one I got to play at the Dice Tower Retreat. It's a brand new let's see, how do I even describe it? It's sort of an old-timey animation style cooperative game. You play a vagrant, one of various tropes. You could be the banjo playing guy or a girl with a dog, and you are on a ghost train that is traveling to unknown destinations. And it's scenario-based, cooperative, and you are sort of helping these mysterious spirits recover their humanity. The style is real strong here. This has lovely little vignettes that you read when you first get started, and it's got that real, it's a strange day as you ride the rails, and this hobo vagrant style to it. Yeah, and even the token bag that you're pulling these tokens out of is like a gingham sack, as if it's your rucksack. Just lovely, delicious theme. It's just dripping with it. And while I only got to play a little bit of this one, I think I'm going to seek out more of Vagrant Song, my number 9.
Awesome. My number 8 is from Level 99 Games, and this is Bullet. Bullet Star, and then I actually got a chance to play Bullet Orange, which is the sequel. And this is an anime puzzle game. So it kind of plays like an arcade puzzle game, somewhat like pieces falling from the sky, and those are your bullets. You're kind of pulling pieces out of a bag, and they have colors on them and numbers, and you're trying to create patterns. Each heroine that you can play, it's all female characters. Each one has a different power and ability and different patterns that you're trying to make in order to clear the bullets out. If the bullets fall too far, they go to the bottom and you take a hit. And when you have so many hits, you're out of the game. And as you clear bullets in the competitive game, you pass them to the player on your left. And so then they have to deal with those bullets plus whatever's there each round, and it kind of increases the number of bullets. So you're trying to kind of overwhelm the person next to you for that. But there is also a cooperative game, which is also solo, and you can flip any of the characters over, and there is a boss character that you have to fight, and now you play in a fully cooperative version. And I think what makes me enjoy this game so much is that I like all of the ways you can play. The competitive is fun. You can actually play the competitive in real time, or you can play it with a timer, or you can just play in real time. It's your choice. So you can put a timer on it or not. It works. You can play it cooperatively. It works great. It feels different from the competitive, and you can play solo. And that is hard to pull off and make me happy. I usually don't like a lot of games that try to do all the things, and this one does it very well. So that is Bullet from Level 99 Games. My number 8.
Cool. Yeah, I really would like to try this one. I love Puzzle Strike, which has the same sort of thematic approach, and would like to try Bullet. I just have never had a chance to play it yet. My number 8, I actually have a visual aid, is Arch Ravels. This is the knitting-themed game. Very simple family weight drafting game where you're getting resources to fulfill projects and complete orders. The style of this is really nice. Production is really nice. It's got some cute projects that have some pop culture references, and oh, nice. This is actually a pattern that comes in the box. That a knitting.
Sorry
pattern.
to interrupt you, but my wife made this pattern for the game, so I was like, oh, I got to dig that out.
Our travels I got specifically because my wife is a knitter and she loves the yarn arts, and she loved it, enjoyed the game, did very well at the game, although she complained that thematically in the real game you're supposed to get rid of your stash of yarn. She says that's not how that works for knitting.
Yeah,
you should be collecting as much yarn as possible, and that was her strategy, and she destroyed me. So our travels, my number 8.
Nice. My number 7 actually has 2 versions. There's Imperium Classics and Imperium. Oh my gosh, I forgot the name of the other one. But there's 2 versions. It's from Osprey Games, and Imperium is a pretty in-depth strategy card game. So you get a civilization, and you are trying to build up that civilization from a barbarian nation to a civilized nation, and all sorts of ways to score points. And there's ways you can kind of collect cards for points, or you can kind of speed through your civilization to end the game, or that some of them even have goals and objectives, and they play in lots of different ways. I actually enjoy this game best as a solo game, and I'm not as much of a solo gamer. The multiplayer game is neat, but it's kind of like one of those engine builders where somebody ends the game and you're like, I didn't quite get to do what I wanted to do. So in the solo mode, you get to kind of play yours out. I actually think it's great. I think it's great as well with 2 and 3 and 4 players, but it's a big teach to get everybody, and everybody's playing very distinct factions. So I feel like you're smartest to play it solo or 2-player your first time. But it's a great game. Imperium Classics by Osprey Publishing.
My number 7 is the Transformers deck building game. This is a new addition to the year's list of games. This one is both competitive and cooperative. I far prefer the cooperative game. It is a deck building game, but you are drafting the cards from a grid, which they call the matrix. So there's actually a positional aspect. You've got your robot standee, and you're moving around the board, interacting with these cards, getting cool cards that are good for your deck, and also encountering Decepticon cards, which are nasty folks you have to deal with. There are even boss characters that are spaced through the deck. In fact, that's the goal, is to get through the boss characters and survive Megatron and Soundwave and all of those. Starscream is in there. My only reservation is that this does feel like half of a game. It's very obvious with some of the cards that they are intending to make Decepticons a playable faction in a future expansion, which makes it a little confusing dealing with some of the cards. You uncover a Decepticon, and right now the only thing that matters with them is a tiny little bit of text at the bottom and their strength at the top of the card. But they've got abilities, they've got stats, they've got and you can't use any of that until you get them in your deck, which would require you being a Decepticon. Anyway, I really enjoy what they've done with this. It is different from many other deck builders, and I like that positional aspect. There's locations that show up in the deck that you can deal with, bordering cards and help each other out if you're in range. There's some fun stuff in here, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. But for now, it's a lot of fun as it is. The Transformers deck building game, my number 7.
I'm down. Transformers is my childhood. I'm ready to play that game. So
maybe next time we get together, I'll bring this along.
I'm pretty excited for that one, for sure. All right, number 6. My number 6 is a game from Corey Konitska and his new publishing company, and that is The Initiative. And sadly, we actually played The Initiative last night, and we are 1 mission short of finishing. So I was hoping that I'd be able to finish it up to be able to kind of have that, but I haven't gotten to the end. We are almost there. But it's a great game. When you get into the game, it feels like it's going to be a little bit too straightforward, but that's actually what makes it great. Like, it's really a code-breaking puzzle-solving game with some board movement. and action choice and card management to kind of go along with the puzzle solving. So every mission revolves around these kids who have found a game at a yard sale, and they're now playing the game, and the story that goes along with there. And the story is great, and it's kind of positive and uplifting, and interesting, mysterious as well. And the mechanisms that go along, it's just fun to solve that puzzle. And every time they just try to throw a little bit of different type of code breaking at you, or puzzle solving, moving around, and you've got characters with abilities. So it's very family weight, but the fact that you can play it in 30 minutes is perfect. And that's what we've done. We've played it with our family after dinner, I believe 14 times now. And 14 30-minute games have been awesome, and it's telling a great story, and I can't wait to finish it very, very soon. That is my number 6, The Initiative.
Yeah, The Initiative's all right. My number 6 is another cooperative game. This seems to be a theme. I'm getting a lot of cooperative games on my list. It's new from Pandasaurus Games, The Loop, which has a time travel theme where you're going to these, let me show the back a little bit here. You're going to these different zones on this 7-sided board that range from medieval times to the end of the world. Like the era of robots is one of the eras. But you've got Dr. Foe, who is jumping around and leaving clones of himself all over the board. You basically have to deal with that before they overwhelm these zones. And you do that with cool cards that you draft from the different eras. They've got neat little themes. There's a hoverboard with wheels. There's a skateboard. All of these cards interact with each other in cool ways. They have suits that you can recharge as a group. So if I have, it's like a swirly suit. And so if I use 2 or 3 swirly cards on my turn, I can spend 1 energy and recharge them all, which is what the loop is. I've looped back time and I've recharged them. So building a cool deck with neat synergy is key to doing well, saving the different eras of the loop. I really like the theme and the style of the whole thing, which is really what gives it extra points. And that's my number 6.
And that would be my number 12. That is a great game, and it both is fun the first time you play it and rewards future plays, because you get better at looping and figuring out things, and that's a very well done by that design team to make you feel like the first time you play you really are having fun, but you're also rewarded for multiple plays. So cool. I enjoyed that one. All right, my number 5 is from Bellwether Games, and this is Lions of Lydia. So Lions of Lydia is a game from Johnny Pack Canton, and it is about the first currency. So you are kind of placing workers in this city of Lydia, and you can kind of place your workers in various places to collect resources that you have on your board. And when you get a surplus of resources, you can spend those to get upgrades. So you can change the colors of the meeples that you're placing. You can get special meeples. You can get upgraded abilities. And then eventually you can spend your resources to buy locations or buildings to put in your tableau. And those buildings might tell you, oh, when you place a worker here, you get more resources. So it's a resource management Euro game. There's 8 expansions, mini expansions in the box. And you can add all of those seamlessly. Well, 2 of them, you have to pick one or the other. So you can play with 7 of them if you want to.
All right.
But yeah, it's a really kind of, 60-minute style Euro game, resource management. A lot of fun. Lots of different paths that you can go about. You're trying to build up that tableau, and then there's a certain number based on the number of players when you get to that many buildings, and then you actually have to upgrade the buildings. So when you get a certain number of upgraded buildings, that triggers the end of the game. Meanwhile, you're collecting the Lions of Lydia, which are the coins. They're called the Lions, have a picture of a lion on them, and they're like wild resources that you can spend as well as points at the end of the game. So that is Lions of Lydia, my number 5.
Interesting. I've never even heard of that one. Sounds like one to check out. My number 5, I know you have, and I'm expecting to see on your list a little bit later on. It's Meadow. This is a nature-themed game, a card drafting and tableau building game with some really cool thematic connections. You're getting these cards that start like very basic terrain, a grassland or a forest card, and then you can place certain small animals, bugs or birds on those terrains. And they have all these different aspects, some of which get consumed when you put a card on top of it, but others still persist, which has these subtle little interactions that are so cool to watch as you develop from these bugs and birds to larger animals, to predators, to houses, finding cute little nature things in the woods, an old axe head or a basket that was from a discarded picnic. All of this in the service of earning points and creating this lovely little vignette in front of you as you expand nature in Meadow, my number 5.
Nice. Meadow's all right. My number 4 is one of the most maligned games of 2021, I would say, and I played it and I think it's phenomenal. And this is Descent, Legends in the Dark. I hope I have the secondary title correct.
This is the new version giant cube.
This is the giant cube from Fantasy Flight Games. The artwork has been criticized, the app usage has been criticized, the price point has been criticized, and yes, all of those things are reasons that if any of those don't interest you, then I can understand if you would be out. But I will tell you, what a great game. We have had so much fun playing this game. I've been playing it some missions solo, some my wife will jump in with me, other people, because you can play it any player count, any mission. So unlike other legacy or campaign games, you can just adjust the player count as you go. You get characters. There's really neat mechanisms with cards that are flippable. So my hero card has 2 sides with different abilities on it. So I might flip that over to get the other ability. I've got like a dual weapon system. So I've got like maybe a melee weapon on one side and my ranged weapon on the other. So there are times where you might get to free flip that. Other times you might spend an action to flip that over. Like, ooh, now I'm going to be at range, so I'm going to stay back here and use that weapon. The dice rolling system is handled by the app. Yes, you're on the app a lot, but the app is like handling all that calculation for you. And I'm a math teacher and I'm still happy to let it just kind of figure out, hey, I had this many successes. You're still making plenty of choices. It's not like you're just clicking things on the app and it's telling you what to do. The app lays out all this beautiful 3D terrain that you can build. That's actually another spot. If you don't want to build your terrain every time, kind of a la, oh gosh, what's that old Hasbro game that I also can't remember with the interlocking hexes?
Hero Quest? No,
HeroScape.
Yeah.
You build your terrain every time as you're playing, so that's definitely a slowdown. Of course, if you've got 3-4 people around the table, they're helping you. But the story just gets better and better. The characters are very interesting. They did not go with kind of standard characters and standard stories. And the more I play it, the more I like the game. I am pretty far through. I haven't finished it, but I don't think I have maybe more than 3 or 4 quests left would be my guess. So I'm pretty far in, 10 or so quests, missions. Great game. And it's also Act 1. So that is important to know that it will come to a, TV show season style conclusion, not a finish is where that's going. But I have thoroughly enjoyed this game beyond all the criticisms of it. I think it's wonderful. Descent, Legends in the Dark from Fantasy Flight Games.
Interesting. I have not played Descent since first edition of Descent, so I'm a little behind on that curve, but sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
My number 4 is the new version of Terraforming Mars. This is the Ares Expedition, which is ostensibly just a card game. It's a little streamlined. There is a small board, but it's less about board position as it is about building your tableau this time. It just sort of gets into the meat of things a little faster. It also has an action selection mechanism that's similar to games like Race for the Galaxy or Puerto Rico, where you can choose one of the actions, the playing of certain cards or drawing cards or running your empire production, which means everybody's going to get to do that, but you also get a bonus for having chosen that particular action. And also trying to figure out what your opponents are going to be wanting to do. So, if I know you're going to produce, Brandt, maybe I don't choose production and I choose to do something else, knowing that I will be getting to produce, even if I don't get the bonus. I think it's a lot of fun. I have the deluxe version with the cool 2-layer boards, which is, I think, a nice production choice. It makes it very easy to see what you're doing and what your production is, and not lose your cubes when you jostle them on the table, which is nice to see. For Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition, the new card game version of the Big Brother game. My number 4.
Nice. I need to pick that up. I need to get that game. My wife doesn't play space games, so it kind of pushes that one aside for the time being, but it is a fun game. All right, my number 3 is a game that you told me about, Eric, and it was higher up on your list. This is Meadow from Rebel Studios. And yeah, Meadow is just gorgeous. The gameplay is very, very streamlined, fun, but you're still making quality decisions, trying to figure things out. I really, really enjoy it. This is one of those games that I learned it. You had recommended it. I picked it up, learned it, and then just brought it everywhere to teach everybody this game. I love teaching this game. If I have one complaint, it's that it's just not nearly as good at 4 players. So you really, in my mind, want to play it at 2 or 3. It has a solo mode. At 4, it's some weird clunkiness, but other than that, it's a phenomenal game. You mentioned it with the way that you can stack the cards and the decisions you're making and the tile placement and the timing of all that. It really is one of those games where how you play is so simple that it gets out of the way and lets you focus on the choices and the strategy that you're making. And the art is just gorgeous to boot. And I love the theme. I love that it's just like you decide to go on a stroll. And what are you going to see?
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think that's such a fun theme. I mean, it's not really much of one, I understand, but it just, okay, all right, there's not a lot of pressure here. I'm not saving a galaxy, a universe. I'm not worried about anything, bad happening. I'm just going for a stroll in nature. And I think we needed that in 2021. So that is Meadow, my number 3.
My number 3 showed up on your list, Brandt. This is the Corey Konecka game, The Initiative, which is just a blast to play. Stylistically, it's super fun. There's all sorts of little Easter eggs to look at on the box, and there's redacted text, and in the rule book, there's secret messages to decode. There's just so much in here, little tidbits to explore. I have completed all 15 of the basic missions. And really love it. It's basically a tile collection game mechanically, but then there is a puzzle. You're collecting the tiles and acquiring them, figuring out which ones you need, and then following the rules to collect those tiles, which then flips up panels on this puzzle board, which then has you solving some sort of puzzle. So you continue moving around the board doing stuff until you think you can solve the puzzle. It's like Wheel of Fortune. And then if you're correct, you've completed the mission successfully. And if you're wrong, well, then you failed. The other cool thing is that after you complete those 15 missions, there's still a whole bunch of other missions for you to continue playing, more difficult puzzles to solve that aren't related to the plot, but you can still enjoy the game. So there's still a lot of replay. Even though I've done the 15, there's still a lot to explore in the Initiative. My number 3, great game for families.
Yeah, super awesome. All right, my number 2 is my big, heavy Euro of the year. And I love heavy Euros. I love heavy strategy games. There's definitely like a time and a place for them. But, when you get to just sit down and just everybody's on board, okay, we're just pouring all our thought into this and strategizing. Even though it's quiet, that's a very fun experience. And this is Anno 1800 from Cosmo. So the theme here is that you are trying to make your workers happy. And if you can make all of your workers happy, that will trigger the end game. And then everyone will add up their points, and the workers are worth points. So you have a player board, and you have a whole spread of different production goods that you can get, coal and iron and wheat and pigs and all sorts of stuff. And then you've got workers of various types, farmers and construction workers and, higher level workers, and investors are eventually the highest kind of level, I suppose. And you've got a hand and each card in your hand represents one of those workers that you have. And so you can gain new workers, and then you draw new cards, and the workers will have requirements. So this one might say that they're really looking for eyeglasses and a coat. And if they get eyeglasses and a coat, they'll be happy. And once you collect those goods for them, you place them on the table, and they now have a one-time bonus you can use. So it might say, collect any resource of a type or whatever, and then you flip the card over, and now it's just worth points to you at the end of the game. So by the end, you gather a lot of workers, and you have a lot of workers that you've made happy, which makes you feel happy, and you get all the points for those. But what's really neat in the game is that a lot of the items are limited. So say in a 4-player game, only 2 people are going to be able to produce glasses. And so if my workers want glasses and Eric and Tom both are producing glasses, well, then I've got to use some of my trade tokens to barter for your glasses for that turn. And you get compensation of a gold, and you can spend gold to kind of reset the workers. Because once all your workers are out on the board, you kind of take one of those reset the workers phases that a lot of games have had recently. But with the gold, you can kind of jump the gun and reset those workers so that you can use them again. There's various other things. You can go explore the new world. You can explore your own territory to add upgrades and abilities and more spaces. You can get boats and trade ships and warships. You can go find other people to trade with, kind of like trade partners that will join you from other nations. And yeah, it's just a great, great game. Very interesting trying to decide, am I going for a lot of points and a lot of score? Or am I going to be the person who kind of speeds through my cards to end the game, get the bonus, and hope the other players haven't kind of got their engine up and running? But that is Anno 1800 from Cosmo. And Martin Wallace.
My number 2 is also my heavy Euro of the year. So Clover. No, it's not. So Clover was on your list as well, Brandt. It's a lovely little party game, cooperative word game with these neat clover-shaped boards where you're matching up words and trying to get clues that are going to get your team to match up that particular set of cards. I played this with my family over the Thanksgiving holiday, and the first round they just did not grasp what we were trying to do. I almost said, all right, let's just try putting out clues. Yeah. And we'll see how it all works in a second. Just make the clues at first. And they didn't quite know what they were doing. And I put mine out, and they're like, oh, that's what we were supposed to be doing. Okay. And then the second round, it all clicked, and we were making fantastic clues and syncing and getting everybody's board correct on the first try. It is so much fun when you get that aha moment of somebody's clue and match them all together and make it work. It is a blast. And another one of these nice hits from repos that works so well in large groups of people. This one, I think, is going to be the party game hit of the year. And my number 2, So Clover.
Yeah, it's a great game. All right, my number 1, we come to the end of the list, and my number 1 is going to be completely left field for people, and this is not just a choice to be eclectic. This game is phenomenal. It barely has any ratings on BGG.
Okay.
This is the My Hero Academia CCG from Jasco Games. So Jasco Games has picked up the Universus card game system, which has been going for a long time. They kind of revamped it, and with My Hero Academia, which is an anime, I don't typically watch anime. I have gone to watch this show because of the game, and I enjoy it. And it's a CCG, so I know for many people, especially in the board game hobby, it's like, I already have all these games. How am I supposed to collect the CCG?
Yeah.
But this is a great game. They've kind of revamped it for this set. It's kind of like this is a new entry point. Even though all the sets are backwards compatible, they've got Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and other animes, Cowboy Bebop, that you can put in there. But this set is a standalone set that you can reset. They've redone the graphic design. And what's awesome when you play and collect the cards is the common cards are very good. So yes, you want rares and ultra rares and secret rares and all that kind of chase, but you can play this game with the common cards. So you can really go out and get a starter set or any of those things. and it's just a blast. It is nothing like Magic the Gathering. It's more of a duel, like a fighting game, like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, any of those. You play a best of 3 round typically, and it's very fast. Like you're just trying to get the health pool down of the other person, and you're stringing together a series of attacks while they're trying to string together a series of blocks, building some foundation cards with abilities. It's got a pretty good learning curve. It's not a simple, straightforward game. It would be tricky to play with kids, but they could get it down, especially if they were into that theme. But I love it. I love being back into CCGs. That was something that 2020 really got me to do. Was I was really playing with less people, and we were playing a bunch of old CCGs, and we knew this game was coming out, and I've just been having so much fun playing it. I enjoy it. I like the theme of all the different characters. There's, I think, 18 heroes that come in the box, and they all play different. The deck building is pretty straightforward, and it's just a great game. I think it's a great place for people to jump in. I love it a whole bunch. The My Hero Academia CCG from Jasco Games. My number 1 game of 2021.
Wow. You got me there. I did not expect that one. Although I have heard you talk about it. I just didn't know your enthusiasm was quite that high. My number 1, I got to play out of the Dice Tower library when I was visiting for the Summer Spectacular, and was immediately charmed with it and had to run out and get my own copy. And Brandt, you were there. I ran into the store at our local game store and said, I need this game. I'm not going anywhere until I have a copy with my name on it. And that was Cubitos.
Yeah.
The racing game from John D. Clare and AEG. You are drafting cubes into your bag. The cubes are dice. And each time you play, those dice have different powers. So the yellow dice may operate one way the first time you play, and then another game they're going to operate slightly differently. You're pulling these dice, and you're going to roll them. And as long as you keep rolling symbols on your dice, you're good. But if you keep deciding to roll, and at some point you don't roll any symbols on the dice, and some of these dice only have 1 or 2 symbols on them, you've busted. So there's this push your luck aspect to this race game as you're moving your piece around the board. There's rewards. I love risk versus reward in a race game, as you can deviate from your path and pick up some really lucrative rewards, but you've just deviated from the path, and somebody can zoom around you and take the more optimal route around the board. So when do you focus on speed, and when do you focus on those rewards and continuing to build your bag full of dice? I love it. I think it works really well for families. I had to run out and get it immediately. And for me, while this isn't the most complex game of the year, it's the one that has landed most solidly for me for 2021. That is Cubitos from AEG and John D. Clare.
That's a great choice. That's just fun in a box right there. That's what that game is. It really is.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes,
that's
indeed.
a great choice.
Well, that is our top 10 of 2021. Brandt, you've given me ones that I need to check out. Perhaps I'm going to have to bug you next time I see you to play some of these. But that's what it's all about. Hearing about these top 10 lists is hearing about stuff that you need to check out in 2022 to play those games that you didn't get a chance to play in 2021.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love listening to the top games, because if somebody says they really enjoyed a game, I want to play it. That's my mentality.
Excellent. Well, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you, everyone, for watching the Dice Tower's Winter Spectacular. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer.
I'm the Brandt.
And you've been watching the Dice Tower.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Bassel, and I want to talk to you today about the top 10 productions of 2021. Now, this is a tough one because games just look amazing now. And I'm not picking necessarily always the biggest games that came with a special Kickstarter edition with painted miniatures and all that stuff. I'm just talking about games that when you open them, I'm like, wow, this is a really well-produced game. This list used to be easier to do because the games that came out were so clearly better than everything else. Now it's a little trickier because there's so many good games. But here are my choices for the 10 best productions of 2021. Number 10 is Shelfie Stacker. Now, Shelfie Stacker is just a game about well, stacking games on your bookshelf. It's such a meta experience. But I put this on the list because for its size, the production value, the cards, the artwork, the symbols, the dice themselves, which show games as you basically the dice are the games as you're putting them on the shelves. It just comes together in a very attractive, very well done package. The game itself is fun. Again, it's kind of manipulating dice and using these dice to put them on your shelf. I like that aspect, but the production I was very, very pleased with. Number 9 is Cryo. Now, Cryo's not a game talked about much near the end of the year, but this game from Z-Man Games where you are kind of crash landed on a planet and you need to get below the surface and get your people into cryo before the surface explodes and there's nothing left. It's a worker placement game, but it's also, you get things when you pull your workers back, but it's just the production of this. The board itself is beautiful. The cards look nice. The artwork's well done. There's really cool pieces and drones and things. It just has a really good look to the whole game. So don't let this one pass you by, Cryo. Number 8 is Juicy Fruits. Juicy Fruits is a game where you're sliding stuff around. It's like a slide puzzle game, and as you slide these tokens, you get fruits. The fruits is just a big pile of wooden fruits. Now, this is actually not the first game to ever do this. There's another game called Finca. But the bright, colorful look to this game, plus these piles of wooden fruits, really makes this the kind of game where people stop by and go, what are you doing? And like I said, not every game has to have miniatures. Sometimes they just have a beautiful, fantastic production like Juicy Fruits does. Number 7 is Wonder Book. Wonder Book is a cooperative game definitely geared towards kids that has the idea of what if the game board was a pop-up book? I'm not kidding. The game board for here, you open a book and a giant tree pops out. You know what though? That's not the only thing to pop out. I can't tell you more because it would spoil it. It also comes with really nice miniatures, really good dice, and great looking cards. This production is just top notch. Everything in Wonder Book, from the surprises in the game to more, just reeks of just good production. And it's the kind of game that when you first open that board and see that tree pop out, you're like, wow. And when other things happen, you go, wow. Any game that makes you go, wow, because of the production should be on this list. Number 6 is Ankh. Ankh is the third game in the series of Blood Rage and Rising Sun. This is the third one set in Egyptian times. In this one, you are a giant god with your followers, and you're getting different monsters, and the miniatures for this one are fantastic. I mean, I said not every game has to have miniatures, but some of them do have miniatures, and the miniatures for this game are some of the best I've seen all year. The components for this game are just top-notch. I like the artwork, but it really comes down to those miniatures, and since you use the miniatures so much over the course of this game, then that's a good selling point. It's not like, this miniature sits here. No, I'm moving this stuff around, and they did a good job at the fact that you don't even need to paint this stuff. I mean, some of it is, I did get painted, and it looks even better, but non-painted, I think it does a really good job at still bringing the game to life. That's Ankh. Number 5 is On the Rocks. This is a little game in which you are mixing drinks together, and it comes with these little marbles that you're pulling from a bag and putting in bowls, and then you pick a bowl and you put these on different drinks. But the boards, the artwork is beautiful, the card quality is good. You put these marbles out there on these little boards that have holes to put them in. The whole thing is just a really cool production. It's a very, very light game. But it's the kind of light game when you bring out and you open your board, which looks like a menu, and people go, wow, what is this game? Well, I'll tell you what this game is. It's On the Rocks. Number 4 on my list is Canvas. Now, Canvas is one of the best welcoming games to come out in a long time. But what makes this game unique is you can hang it on the wall. There's actually a hole in the back of the box because it looks like a canvas, but the components here are amazing. It's a very simple game where you're making paintings and the different symbols on them score you points, blah, 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 blah. That's good. But each of these cards is a clear card with a little bit of stuff on it, and when you put them together on top of a background, you have created your own painting. And it's so good to the fact that when I play this game, at the end of the game, we judge the paintings by the best painting. You know, forgetting everything else that comes with the game, the gameplay itself, which is good and solid, but just putting a few clear cards on top of a background, and you can make myriads of different paintings. really nice. It's a small produced game. This is one of the smallest ones on this list, but it's really well done. Number 3 is Merchant's Cove. Merchant's Cove is a big production, and the conceit of Merchant's Cove is that each player has their own board, their own way that they play that all affects the middle game. I found it to be okay at best. But the production is top notch. They have all these trays and everything fits in that tray and the pieces are really cool. And I have a red resource and you have a red resource, but mine is a potion. Yours is a treasure chest. Theirs is a fish. They all look different. They did a good job at going out of their way to just make this one of the best productions of the year, Merchant's Cove. Number 2 is Coffee Traders. I am so tired of people who play heavier economic style games and I say, this game looks boring, and they go, well, that's just the way these games are. They don't have to be, and Capstone proves that with Coffee Traders. Coffee Traders is a fairly heavy economic game about making coffee, and it looks amazing. It's gorgeous. There are wooden pieces and coffee beans, little colored coffee beans and pieces and tokens and wooden buildings. The whole thing, you look at it, it's bright, it's cheerful, and it's heavy and crunchy. Those two things are not opposites, and they're put together here in a fantastic game that shows that Capstone is on top of its game with this stuff. This is one of many Capstone games I could have put on the list. And my number 1 game for production this year is a game that I'm not a huge fan of, but I'm the only one in the studio who's not. Everyone else loves it, and that's Unsettled. Unsettled from Orange Nebula has a great production box with the little kind of other boxes that you pull out. This game, you can pull out all the boxes, set it up, and there's the game. The way you store it is also the way you play it. Coupled with amazing art, coupled with really good rules writing, good flavor text, really good flavor text. I mean, this is just... Production is great across the board. When you play Unsettled and you're done, you think about the game, but you also think, how did that look? And this shows that Orange Nebula, because this is their second game after Vindication, they're at the top of their game. I really think so. This is my favorite production of the year, Unsettled. But I'm sure you all might think differently. What are your favorite productions? Let me know in the comments. These are my top 10 productions of 2021. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.